Yo, it's your boy Jester the Undead.
And Sam Grimm.
And together we are Sick Fist. And right now, you're listening to Uncovering the Underground with your boy Skippy Ickham.
Dope tone, high quality beats.
I will give you everything, I'll even sell my soul, just to make you happy and to fill this empty hole. But you gave me nothing and I felt my hatred grow, as I sat and watched as our love turned into stone. So I've come to terms that this relationship must end. The ultimate betrayal of a man and his best friend. I know you may feel justified, but I'll make you repent and make you relive every second of our last descent.
This is it, the point of no return. I'ma make these bitches squirm and my soul is gonna burn. My revenge, I've been plotting every minute since she went and fucking did it. Now they both can fucking witness their demise. I despise all that's hidden in their eyes. Life of lies, I reprise all the time that's passed me by. Sabotage and utilize all the demons in your life to publicize the reason why that I've eroticized the time of your death. Bitch, you had to fucking do it, let me waste my time to boot it. Leave me cold and so confused to think that I was gonna marry you. After all the things you put me through, I'll cuddle the memories into you. How could you? How could you? But now it doesn't matter, bitch, I'm the echoes of your past, and I'm meeting with your present just to make a future burn to ash. Please don't struggle, bitch, I just wanna make you suffer for a couple more hours while you stare at your dead lover. Yeah.
Sit your ass down, have a chat with Iron Maiden, and you better fucking listen to the words that I am saying as I draw the knife in the shape of an A, so that every time you look at it, you think of my face, bitch. This ain't something I will let you forget, and the pain you're feeling isn't shit to the pain in my chest. You swore you were different, but you'll suffer like the rest, and your attempts to hide the truth were mediocre at best. Now as for you, motherfucker, I've got something special. You're claiming brother fam, but you're just an empty vessel, where evil lives and breeds. You're a walking, talking cesspool, and I'ma pop your eyes out like a festering pustule. Your problem is you're always thinking with the smallest muscle, so I'm gonna solve it with an iron pineapple. And you're begging and you're pleading is a sound that's almost sexual, and the feeling of revenge is unexpectedly exceptional.
Zachary 1, I had nothing but love. It was 4 long years of a brotherly trust, but the snakes will emerge and they act upon their lust, leaving wounds that never heal upon the souls of those they trust. With a long thin grin, you've accomplished so much, tore apart a friendship and the one true love that a man could ever have. So now I'll peel back your fingernails and cut trails right up out of Zach's back fast. So this is how it works. I'ma start with this incision right below the cheekbone and reveal the vessels. It is slowly one by one. I'll eliminate the bonds and let the blood run down your face for every wrong you caused. Moving right on down to the rim set, to the hands, yes, a 22 shell blows a nail into the chair that you're strapped to when your tattoos are burning off with the superheated iron, bro. I hope the fuck was worth the loss.
Now the time has come, and I promise that you'd pay. You have no idea how long I have waited for this day. I have a lust for blood, and baby, you've got what I need. I will take your penance with us. Slice, slice, constant repeat. 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 Slice, slice, constant repeat.
over the face with my fingertips. I can't let go.
When I first met Tommy, I was only 13, bouncing a dope-ass Super Ball up and down the street. Then there he was, outside the cemetery. The fog was rolling in, it was really kinda scary. His head was bleeding, said he fell off his bike. So we went back to my spot, I got him some ice. I introduced him to my mom, she didn't pay him no mind. We kicked it all day, Tommy even spent the night. In the morning he was gone, completely out of sight. So I hit the streets to find my new homie with no luck. A couple hours later I was ready to give up, and then there he was in the very same spot. Again with his head bleeding, I'm thinking what the fuck. But then he said, hey, let's play a game, and handed me a rusty blade. Told me there's a guy that lives by himself just down the way, and all I had to do was cut his atoms out the sideways. His name was Tommy, my very best friend. We would play all day, the fun would never end. But Tommy had a secret nobody could see, nobody but me. He said we'd be friends till the end of eternity.
Tommy was dead. He was my best friend. He was my best friend. Tommy was my best friend. Tommy was dead. He was my best friend. He was my best friend. It was cold, I was walking home all alone. Into the woods when I stumbled on a gravestone. Candle wax, so I couldn't quite make out the name. But his name was Tommy, and he died a year ago today. I remember when the kids are flicking boogers at him, tied him to a tree. Nobody ever bothered to help him. I was there when they locked him in a dog cage, threw him off an overpass and left him by the highway. Mean kids, why would they do this? Play tricks, beat him up with rocks and sticks. Quick, take abuse so much you get sick. We were playing kickball and he was always last pick. No remorse from the kids on the playground. Always knocked him down to the dirt till he stayed down. He went home and he got his dad's butcher knife. He finally had enough, he chose to take his life.
I never understood why I always did his bidding, but fuck it, we were homies, that's the only reason needed. Many years later I noticed he hasn't aged. When I asked him about it, he just quickly looked away, spiraled into a rage, threw a table at my face, and vanished without a trace. It was a few days later he decided to explain. He'd been dead for years at the hands of some punks. They were nothing but some bitches, now they all grown up. So I'm creeping outside another house about to rip some guts. Nobody fucks with one of my homies, no matter how long ago it was. He's standing in the kitchen at the sink, washing dishes. I grab him by the head and drown him in the water he's kicking. Take his own life, just starts sticking vicious. Blood and water, his feet keep slipping until the thrashing, splashing bubbles come to a stop. Fuck a piece of shit, bitch, boldly let his body rot. His name was Tommy, my very best friend. We would play all day, the fun would never end. But Tommy had a secret nobody could see, nobody but me. He said we'd be friends till the end of eternity.
Tommy was dead. He was my best friend. He was my best friend. Tommy was my best friend. Tommy was dead. He was my best friend. He was my best friend.
Ready? Go!
Oh no, man! I've seen a lot of ugly women, man. This woman is ugly to the bone. Yeah, she's a fucking nasty fucking bitch, man. Gotta love her.
Equal opportunity is what I'm all about. What's the sound? Never mind, I got my dick inside your mouth. My libido's gone crazy when I'm hazy. So crazy. Come to bending over all these old ladies. Ruthless as fuck, I leave their pelvic bone broke. You're broke. Cause I think it's fun and game, but no joke. All these urges got my dick so hard. Fuck the living, dig up playmates in the local graveyard. I'm a sex fiend, something obscene. Stick my dick in anything, I'm living the dream. It doesn't matter what it is, cause I'm going in dry. Do or die, save the tears, I don't wanna hear you cry. Beauty skin deep, but I'm 8 inches past. In that ass, tear it up till it's fully prolapsed. Then I'm on to the next, appetite unsurpassed. I'm jerking on cars from a busy overpass. Men, women, children, I just don't give a fuck. A hole is a hole, and your hole just got stuck. No, it's just another way to tell me yes. When I'm on my prowess best, to lock the door and pray you're not next. Men, women, children, I just don't give a fuck. A hole is a hole, and your hole just got stuck. No, it's just another way to tell me yes. When I'm on the prowess best, to lock the door and pray you're not next.
Oh, this chick was such a slut. She fucked 2 of the nastiest, the total nastiest. The one guy can't even walk and got 6 toes, man. Nasty fucking
Neighborhood creeper and I'm out on the prowl. Call me foul when I push my fingers deep inside your bowels. In these waters, it's any port in a storm. Callus covered, my dick is weathered and worn. Pop off their shoes, rub my cock on their toes. In between it goes, and I arc my load in their nose. Choke and poke into rape you, now fall. Fuck them all, high and cracking, now I'm rubbing my balls. 5 o'clock cock, hit it in your room. The wretched stench of death counts down the doom of your womb. Muzzle load a baby back into its mom with my dick. Till it clicks, no one buys it, so I gotta get pics. Drunk at the park, with my pants soaked in piss. I try to cop a feel, but stumble to the ground and miss. Another day, another hole, an alcoholic abyss. Fuck my fist till I lose all feeling in my wrist. Men, women, children, I just don't give a fuck. A hole is a hole, and your hole just got stuck. No, it's just another way to tell me yes. When I'm on my prowess best, to lock the door and pray you're not next. Men, women, children, I just don't give a fuck. A hole is a hole, and your hole just got stuck. No, it's just another way to tell me yes. When I'm on the prowess best, to lock the door and pray you're not next.
It's like you got punched in the face by God.
Lobsters represent.
We don't need no education. We just want that low same music.
Let me begin by welcoming the whole gang back to inside the crazy brain of this maniac. With a little help from my friends like Joe Cocker, this homie loco go dodo and total off of my rocket. Yeah, moping knocker so I can spit fresh, holding on. So said I can go provocative, living like I wanna. Still just a crazy kid showing and telling what I've done. Someone know something, dumping up my vigorous trigger tongue. Low saints, the name you know as soon as the song begun. Represent the music we wrote, just take notice of this one. Heavily conclusive when flow, this wrote this for everyone. Stepping low down for the beginning of me rolling tongues. You got fans, but baby I got loasters. Escaped out the whack and word type of cycles without hosters. Bangers from every set, from the cities to psychosis. Even the country bumping with lifted big rigs locusts.
We don't need no education. We just want that low same music.
at the mic and I spit quick, running through all of my enemies. Never consider me like click with that punk, cause I did put triple the sixes with the army of lobsters. Running up on them like it was the ones that wanna be starting them drama that they cannot finish. I'm headed to diminish, up in the go witness, I call it my fitness, yeah. So if you can feel it, then follow along, my people get with this here. We reppin' hard this year, aspire with fear, we lost us. Scarred by tears, battle dark when it approaches. Got an enemy, superhuman, the gotta be back in and boom, strategy. Hard to not be the family, okay, this will be kicking me, say this, got me seeking to the victory, banging way out his pain for me, slipping just like my sanity. Oh, got humanity, golden like they was panning me, rolling my soul in tragedy, make for a stronger man of me, so feel it, low, skill it, sizzling in my skillet, was ripping my nizzle, appealing to the ones that can real us.
We don't need no education. We just want that low same music. The entire generation of losters getting low down.
Yeah, what's reppin'?
Tell them how the losters hold you down.
Encarcelado, siempre estás conmigo. Eres parte de mí como el aire que respiro. La miseria ama a la compañía. Eres para mí, todo para mí. Me encanta lastimarte. La paciencia es una virtud. Me encanta cuando gritas. Nadie puede ver, pero yo y tú. Yo bebo cada lágrima que lloras cada noche. Te recordaré. ¿Quién me has hecho? Nunca siento simpatía. La libertad te espera. Recuérdame. Me siento culpable. Siento empatía. Nunca me olvidarás. Recuérdame. Parece que mis sentimientos han cambiado. Me rompiste, estoy muy triste para sentir enojado. Has expuesto mi corazón, mi culpa y humanidad. Mi humanidad y mi soledad. Por eso tengo que dejarte ir. Prométeme que no me olvidarás. No importa dónde vayas, siempre te veré. Dentro de mis sueños, como me duele, nunca escaparás de mí. ¿Quién me has hecho? Nunca siento simpatía. La libertad te espera. Recuérdame. Me siento culpable. Cuando te sientes perdido, cuando estás acostado, sé que pensarás en mí. ¿Quién me has hecho? ¿Quién me has hecho? Nunca siento simpatía. La libertad de esperar. Recuérdame, me siento culpable. Siento empatía. Nunca me olvidarás.
It's Friday night, I got nothing to do except call my dude and get a new tattoo. It's Friday night, I got nothing to do except call my dude and get a new tattoo.
I'm tatted up, I'm tatted up, I'm tatted up, and don't give a fuck. I'm tatted up, I'm tatted up, I'm tatted up, and don't give a fuck. I got my first tattoo at the age of 15. Now I'm all tatted up and spitting these 16s. It's like a sick dream when I'm feeling for ink. It's my goddamn body, I don't care what y'all think. I'm addicted to the electric burn. At night I can't sleep, I toss and turn. I want another one, I guess I'll never learn. I keep it dirty like an earthworm, no concern for anything. Just give me that needle, got me looking all evil cause I don't like people. I see you with your tramp stamp, yeah that's cute. That'll be the bullseye for the load I shoot. Route 666, yeah I'm headed for hell. In a damn hand basket, I might as well get a new tattoo, one's never enough. New kid on the block and I got the right stuff.
It's Friday night, I got nothing to do except call my dude and get a new tattoo. It's Friday night, I got nothing to do except call my dude and get a new tattoo.
I'm tatted up, I'm tatted up, I'm tatted up, and don't give a fuck. I'm tatted up, I'm tatted up, I'm tatted up, and don't give a fuck. I'm a walking piece of artwork, blood, sweat, and tears, and countless hours of this hard work. My arms hurt, but it's a price to pay to make fools look twice when I walk they way. Please walk away. I got nothing to say except eat shit and die. Put it on replay. I stay with the outcast, low down criminals. A tattoo to me is like a ritual, an individual with something to say. I let my tattoos do the talking, and hey, every single one's a story. Very observatory, severely feeling sore. No guts, no glory. It's hard to ignore me walking down the street, white trash with tattoos, feeling like a freak on a leash. Come with me, yeah, follow the leader, and we can all get tatted up and rock wife beaters.
It's Friday night, I got nothing to do except call my dude and get a new tattoo. It's Friday night, I got nothing to do except call my dude and get a new tattoo.
I'm tatted up, I'm tatted up, I'm tatted up, and don't give a fuck. I'm tatted up, I'm tatted up, I'm tatted up, and don't give a fuck. I can't hide these scars forever in my skin, embedded in my body, and golly, I can't pretend to be somebody that I'm not. Yo, I got so many tattoos. How many? Bitch, a lot, yo, I lost count, and I just can't stop. My dick gets hard when I see the ink drop. Whatever, motherfucker, pain is pleasure. I pray every night that things get better. The pressure of my stress levels, dancing with the devil, got me plotting on my next one. Get it together is what they telling me, but I don't pay him no attention. Artistic expression covers my complexion. Did I mention my collection is extensive and impressive? Aggressively expensive, but it helps with my depression. Here's a lesson I can show you all about the rough shit. Sit and take it like a man, you little punk ass bitch.
It's Friday night, I got nothing to do except call my dude and get a new tattoo. It's Friday night, I got nothing to do except call my dude and get a new tattoo.
I'm tatted up, I'm tatted up, I'm tatted up, and don't give a fuck. I'm tatted up, I'm tatted up, I'm tatted up, and don't give a fuck.
Bitte att fatta det. Bitte att fatta det. Fatalem.
Can't reverse, no hurts. Spotters disperse my curse. When I step out, all I see is blackbirds. I'm in love with a dog, no tricks. Burning at the stage like a Salem witch. Can't reverse, no hurts. Spotters disperse my curse. When I step out, all I see is blackbirds. I'm in love with a dog, no tricks. Burning at the stage like a Salem witch. Voice to trust into mine. Ain't no funny thing to plead, drink the blood and seed, now stand back in the face of me. The fight to my ears, I hand up a leg, bleeding the skin from my fires and stuff. I've seen them every for quantity for it to flex. I'm amused by my tendency to always be a rage. Trash bags, disposed without a trace. Used and abused, I could beat them that grace. All love when I'm dead, no pigs when I'm here. Die young from the game, ain't nothing I fear. And nothing I fear, and nothing I fear, and nothing I fear. Reverse, no hurts. Spotters disperse my curse. When I step out, all I see is blackbirds. I'm in love with a dog, no tricks. Burning at the stage like a Salem witch. Reverse, no hurts. Spotters disperse my curse. When I step out, all I see is blackbirds. I'm in love with a dog, no tricks. Burning at the stage like a Salem witch. God can't save us. None will be over. Sipping it back, spitting on fast, he's black, but I never look back. Look at me, lies make hack. Now step so back as a slam to go bleed until I can't choke. Position of which fix out, never get home. No, we all fall down, we all fall down, we all fall down, we all fall down. Murder crucifix, I'll slay the lambs, river fluid, looses out, don't get the ground. Can't reverse, no hurts. Spotters disperse my curse. When I step out, all I see is blackbirds. I'm in love with a dog, no tricks. Burning at the stage like a Salem witch. Can't reverse, no hurts. Spotters disperse my curse. When I step out, all I see is blackbirds. I'm in love with a dog, no tricks. Burning at the stage like a Salem witch. Dreary white polished bats take a sun down my eyes, roll back and drop heavy from that rain pour. The raven fall, it blood all falls upon. I see the red door. Wrap around 6 times like a 7, but no slip bronze. Fun great to stage, grow for 97 times with no more 8. We can animals alive the cage. Demonstrated up on the wall in the days. The magnets got me twisted. The city's been the lipstick. I fall back, but you can't catch me. I'm falling to the earth. 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 Can't reverse, no hurts. Spotters disperse my curse. When I step out, all I see is blackbirds. I'm in love with a dog, no tricks. Burning at the stage like a Salem witch. Can't reverse, no hurts. Spotters disperse my curse. When I step out, all I see is blackbirds. I'm in love with a dog, no tricks. Burning at the stage like a Salem witch. Can't reverse, no hurts. Spotters disperse my curse. When I step out, all I see is blackbirds. I'm in love with a dog, no tricks. Burning at the stage like a Salem witch. Journey into the mission, you will die like a bitch.
and time again they try to hold me down. They try to tell me that I won't be anything. They try to tell me I'm a fuck up, that I'm garbage. And I just smile cause you're witnessing the rise of a motherfucking king. Yeah. Hallucinations of horror haunting my horrid mind. Simulated senses satisfied by scenes of brutal crime. I wanted to give this bitch my knife tip, but by the way she's screaming and moaning, I could tell that she fucking liked it. I've been waiting for the right fit and the right time to cut the lights and leave these motherfuckers lifeless. I've been loving life, well, lifeless. See, I'm a psycho, but hey yo, I digress. And I just digest all of your innards. I'm a sicko and I'm gathering up food for the winter. I'm the bringer of pain and I am the master of splinters. I'm the shredder of flesh inside of the sewer of sickness. I will gather your blood in barrels to dump them in the river. Make a cleansing of crimson, create a sea of forgiveness. I don't gotta dream about it cause I live this. A nightmare every day and it be endless. I pen these thoughts down on loose leaf. Won't ever lose sleep, nah. Watch me creep through the shadows like a cool freak. Skippy Yickum got the game on lock. You just got a new neighbor, now this ain't your block. Cause I've been dealing with some pent-up aggression. I took the curse that I was given and turned it into a blessing. All my anger and hatred mixed with sorrow and depression into each and every sentence. Use my music as my weapon. They try and tell me that I'm merely a waste, till I climbed out of the sewer spitting shit in their face. Till I climbed out of these ruins and I laid them to waste. Using hate as motivation, it was fuel for the race. And now I'm first place, and I be flying in my own lane. Fans wanting pictures of me, you was still a no name. And you was still a broke lame. Isn't it funny how the tides change, motherfucker? I'm one of the dopest out, no need to scream and shout. I've earned my clout, y'all think different, shut your fucking mouth. Cause here's my thesis, I'm just like Jesus for letting myself down, for believing these people could conceive this. Life full of better lands, I'm not a better man, I'm just the seed of sin, I'm bracing for the end, you'll never breathe again. I be coming with the switchblade army, got the skin tight gloves and the all black hoodie. Cause I'm ready to wreck this shit, I'm making my own exodus. Subjected to the fact that I'm a slave to my own deficit. Deaf to all these thoughts because I really can't connect with them. Connecting is the method that I use when I'm subjecting them. A bright flash in the land of the dead. A beautiful butterfly I lured into my web. I sweet talked you, honey, now you're lying on my bed. Well, I'm about to pound you till you're crying, cause I'm fucked in the head. There's no turning back, cause if my mind says do it, it's like 30 seconds later, I'm gonna get right to it. I try to block it out, I try to turn the volume down, but all these voices screaming at me, now they're getting way too loud. I'm blinded, I'm lost inside this dark haze. So much rage, I be stuck in my old ways. I need to try to find a piece of joy, like when I stand against opponents and I leave them destroyed. Because they try and tell me that I'm merely a waste, till I climbed out of the sewer spitting shit in their face. Till I climbed out of these ruins and I laid them to waste. Using hate as motivation, it was fuel for the race. And now I'm first place, and I be flying in my own lane. Fans wanting pictures of me, you was still a no name. And you was still a broke lame. Isn't it funny how the tides change, motherfucker?
las ventanas, entrando con fuerza. Esta noche habrá una matanza. Las paredes serán pintadas con tu sangre preciosa. Dejaré una masacre hermosa. Voy a decapitar y poner tu cabeza en una bolsa. Dejaré desaparecer sin un rastro o una nota. La cinta para conductos es la mejor para tu boca. Nadie escuchará un solo grito o palabra. Gratificación instantánea. Mi sed construye mientras veo tu sangre llena una botella. Soy calculado, no soy impulsivo. Siento el hambre de casa alrededor, me siento malicioso. Rechazo el sentimiento de culpabilidad. Para mis acciones tomo la responsabilidad. Nunca voy a negar la necesidad de matar. Tengo tu pinche cabeza dentro de mi bolsa.
Tu familia te está esperando. Sabes si has sido asesinado. Tengo tu cabeza en mi bolsa. Tengo tu cabeza en mi bolsa. Mi familia me está esperando. Estoy decapitado y desmembrado. Hiciste mi cabeza en tu bolsa. Hiciste mi cabeza en tu bolsa. Por siempre y siempre. 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 Por siempre y siempre.
Diabolic, the monster. Gasolina. Body count. Hey, 1, 2, 3, that's a body count. I shoot 249, that's somebody's crowd. I hit 365, that's a year the round. I call 911, bitches going down. I got 6, everybody's laying around. Like 9/11 jumpers when they hit the ground. I got 1, 2 reasons I don't fuck around. Looking like Under Armour, I protect the house. I got 1 machete and a loaded 9. Hey, 12 rounds, I ain't talking boxing match. Pop breaking in the crib, put the gun in the grill. Now tell me, how you gonna box with that? Pop drain your blood where the faucet's at. I don't like you kids like a foster dad. Here to tell y'all fucks that the monster back. I'm stopping all hoes, call a monster match. Hey, Bane on the beat, bring the flame to the street. Oh, gas and my bitch got a monster ass. I'm bringing the wicked, the Shunken Head military, and I cover it like a punker where they function at. I got all up in my feelings about the people and the dealers, and they pull it like a temperature, a bang on them hoes. Living really wicked, and the people never get it, but I guess it's because I'm fucking strange, I suppose. I STRANGE, pray if you're my enemy. I ain't got the energy. What the fuck's gotten into me? STRANGE, pray if you're my enemy. I ain't got the energy. What the fuck's gotten into me? Power up, power up, power up. Yeah, bitch, I power up. I power up, power up. Yeah, bitch, I power up. I power up, power up. Yeah, bitch, I power up. Power up, power up. Yeah. Back to the boss like a relapse. This time, don't nobody get a free pass. Hang him in the freezer and I beat him like a Rocky. I promise to get nobody snap a killer in that cold mask. Fully y'all better walk past to get your body surrounded by a chalk dash. You're a psycho the same lines, and so it's really easy to see the reasons why you bitches talk trash. Yeah, bitch, I power up. Like I'm being plugged into a receptacle. Gripping your neck and like a person with a grudge. Man, I swear to God, it's hard for me to let it go. Triple I diabotic, it's on a couple edibles. All of your homies that think I'm trash, but man, it's all good. Cause your girl DM'd and she said I'm incredible. Bitch, you about to say I'm all this better, so people gon' die. I'm a death machine. Compounds unstable like I'm tetrazine. Hey, we be on the block like a Tetris team. I'm a soldier, I will not accept defeat. Goddamn, if I wanna kill him, you can call it God's plan. Bitch, I am a god, I got a gun and y'all scram. Hit him with a whip and throw him in the Dodge Ram. Bitch, I got the power on the motherfucker man. STRANGE, pray if you're my enemy. I ain't got the energy. What the fuck's gotten into me? STRANGE, pray if you're my enemy. I ain't got the energy. What the fuck's gotten into me? Power up, power up, power up. Yeah, bitch, I power up. I power up, power up. Yeah, bitch, I power up. I power up, power up. Yeah, bitch, I power up. Power up, power up. Yeah.
I refuse to be a victim. I'ma fight for survival. I know what I'm worth and I know what I write is vital. People quote my words like it came right from the Bible. The only real thing you see is the light when your eyes close. Think about that. No, really, think about that. When we get too old, they bring us round back. Throw us away and forget us. After the earth wrinkles our mask. After they recruit us, they use us. After we become useless, they shoot us and just find some new ones. We go through life thinking we're the special ones, but the special ones grow fewer and fewer. We are just players securing their future. Get the paper and hallelujah the moolah. Instead of staying true to our viewers, we forget that snakes ain't nothing new to Medusa. Gun on my side, I ain't missing. Love on my mind, hugs and kisses. Won't say goodbye with the fussing and kicking. I'll fight for my life because I'm not a victim. Gun on my side, I ain't missing. Love on my mind, hugs and kisses. Won't say goodbye with the fussing and kicking. I'll fight for my life because I'm not a victim. If I can help it, I'll avoid confrontation. If I can help you, I'll bring joy across the nation. But I'll strap on my helmet if I'm forced into danger. Threaten me and my family and get thrown towards the angels. Or the demons, bliss or darkness, whichever lore you believe in. There's so much more to believe in than a Lord when you're breathing. But of course, to afford those secrets, you must have no morals or reason. What a strange world we live in. I put spirits to lyrics. If I ever speak the truth, I'm a conspiracy theorist. But you can't put fear in the realist. I'm still here and I'm near. And when people steer clear when they feel they're severely addicted. But my addiction ain't nothing compared to what you see on television. What these rappers rap about is self-inflicting. They don't help the children. They just be cooking in the hellish kitchen, whipping up garbage to feed yet another selfish vision. But I ain't participating. I'm going against it and watch. I will still be able to get known in an instant. As long as my head don't get blown in a flow with my rants. When I die, I'll forever be known as the ghost of the limit. There's no slow on commitment. If you're showing resentment towards me, then you need to take a second look. Who's in control of the business? I'm just a vocalist spitting, hoping I don't get thrown in the home where the dope are in prison. I'm too focused to giving. I'm gonna beat me to the top, whether you like it or not. Not gonna freeze and then flop. I'm the cream of the crop. I always feed for my props. Not gonna be like my pops. They say I preach like a guy, but I ain't preaching religion. The only thing I believe in is me and my squad. PMR with the dogs that you fear at the park. Is the part where your jaw drops and you realize that we're here, but we've been here from the start. Gun on my side, I ain't missing. Love on my mind, hugs and kisses. Won't say goodbye with the fussing and kicking. I'll fight for my life because I'm not a victim. Gun on my side, I ain't missing. Love on my mind, hugs and kisses. Won't say goodbye with the fussing and kicking. I'll fight for my life because I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim. I'll fight for my life because I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim. I'll fight for my life because I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim.
Ghost of the minute. Brutal Business Entertainment. We coming after everybody. Body's about to fall, y'all. Get it? Is this war? Is it more? Break down the door. Bring out your corpse. Not keeping score. Got it locked. Figure 4. Hit record. Bring the torches with the horde. Kill them all. This ain't a war. It's a massacre. This ain't a war. It's a massacre. This ain't a war. It's a massacre. Fuck the world. We'll take on every single challenger. What even is this? Say bullshit for 100 songs. I'm all about some shit you never done. Go suck a dong. Fucking cons not ready when I bring the wrath like a fucking con. Hellfire on my fucking spine. Hold mics with bloody bombs. Come along, I'll show you death cause you overstep. I'm on with Ted, bury you alive, bitch. Don't hold your breath. Take that fake chain, asphyxiating till I broke your neck. Raising more hell than Motorhead. Hunt y'all like Boba Fett. Fuck these underground rappers too, just little nerds. Clowns on SoundCloud, shout out down. I'm nothing to hurt. Make the rap game my prison and my rhythm sinister. I'm Jack the Ripper with literature. Kill them when I get the urge. Been disturbed, I don't give a single fuck about your opinion. Most of these fucking rappers' vocabulary's infant. They catalogs infringement, mine's is just malignant. You don't wanna go to war with me or my contingent. Is this war? Is it more? Break down the door. Bring out your corpse. Not keeping score, got it locked. Figure 4, hit record. Bring the torches with the horde. Kill them all. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. Fuck the world, we'll take on every single challenger. This world has been corroded and filled with
with rodents. Motherfuckers think you owe them and looking for a bonus. Without me, you promoters would have crashed like a Bowen. Saints poet, lead them then like Moses, bring in bad omens. I'm done with acting civil, bite the hand, get crippled. Opportunists all around, even fucking fans of pickle. Only there with you on top, treat us as sacrificial. Past the pistol, now I'm the devil dancing in the middle. Start with ignoramus and send them down where Hades lives. Not a fucking thought in their brain, they all just plagiarists. I'm dangerous, Amos, miscellaneous, don't play favorites. Don't give a fuck with you, a pagan, atheist, or Satanist. Better watch what you're doing inside my backyard. Don't let us catch you moving heroin powder to black tar. Turn you to track stars, repercussions faster than NASCAR. Brutal business logo on your corpse, your villain still at large. Is this war? Is it more? Break down the door, bring out your corpse. Not keeping score, got it locked, figure 4, hit record. Bring the torches with the horde, kill them all. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. Fuck the world, we'll take on every single challenger. Be warned, we don't play warrior on the keyboard. We'll strap your whole fucking family to some C4. Your hunchback, live your mama's basement. Your ego motherfucker put you on a detour right to the seafloor. Always brutal, ain't no time for the cry babies. Most millennials like ladies while I'm spitting rabies. They hear some shit they don't like and run to find safety. I know that God hates me, I'm Satan's Tom Brady. Get on your Twitter and blog, go eat your Tide Pods. One violence don't need a call, so fuck a dialogue. One body's outlined in chalk all on the sidewalk. Can't get in a church or a mosque, I wonder why not. If I offended you, I humbly don't give a fuck. Middle finger permanently, your bitch don't interrupt. Feel like Thanos, I'd much rather turn them to dust. Could go on forever like Scissor Fist, cause this is us. Is this war? Is it more? Break down the door, bring out your corpse. Not keeping score, got it locked, figure 4, hit record. Bring the torches with the horde, kill them all. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. Fuck the world, we'll take on every single challenger.
I was like stoned. I was high on the ceiling, all of my feelings. High on the ceiling, all of my feelings. Feelings. I was high on the ceiling, all of my feelings. I was high on the ceiling, all of my feelings. High on the ceiling, all of my feelings.
I was high on the ceiling, all in my feelings. Hoping these people would kill me, but they just some bitches. And since they just bitches, I'ma just sit back and kill this blunt. Those stones, all you want is your glass house. I don't give a fuck if I did, bro. It'd be a bitch, bro. Like I came here to get my dick sucked. Came in with my fist cupped. Broke loose, y'all big mad. Been to hell and back. Got a fire bag and a demon is that I hawk smash. I'm a hot flash when I'm spitting. Cause a heat rash on your sister. Cause she was on me, we was on the beach like all week, just chillin'. I was high on the ceiling, all in my feelings. I was high on the ceiling, all in my feelings. I was high on the ceiling, all in my feelings. Hoping these people would kill me. I was high on the ceiling, all in my feelings. I was high on the ceiling, all in my feelings. I was high on the ceiling, all in my feelings. I was high on the ceiling, all in my feelings. Hoping these people would kill me. I was high on the ceiling, all in my feelings. I was stoned off emotion like apparition just floating. My life is a circle, can't ghost it. Back and forth, shit ain't working. My mind is out of service, live without a purpose. Gone off that Demi Lovato, that Remy and Cabo, so mix, so mulatto. Black dick, white minded. Let me shut up and hit the bottle. Allow me to wallow, that bitch ain't a model. She just ain't found shit she can't swallow. No longer my problem, but I am a product of all of the problems you bottle. Creating this monster, raised by philosophers and mobsters. Proud of my therapists and doctors. What the fuck up on the bottom? Trying to be the big bone bottom. Feeling like I'm 6'4", but I'm 5'6". Guess my dick make me taller. Walking like a limp on my shoulder. It's my dick that make me wobble. I got 99 problems, but I beat the case like Morocco. Ergo got 98 left. I
so problems get on top of me. But I'm always high on the ceiling, all in my feelings. Always high on the ceiling, all in my feelings. Always high on the ceiling, all in my feelings. Hoping these people would kill me. I was high on the ceiling, all in my feelings. I was high on the ceiling, all in my feelings. I was high on the ceiling, all in my feelings. I was high on the ceiling, all in my feelings. Hoping these people would kill me. I was high on the ceiling, all in my feelings. I was high on the ceiling, all in my feelings. Hoping these people kill me. I was high on the ceiling, all in my feelings. I was high on the ceiling, all in my feelings. I was high on the ceiling, all in my feelings. Hoping these people would kill me. I was high on the ceiling, all in my feelings. I was high on the ceiling, all in my feelings. Hoping these people would kill me.
The guy told us to take the money. He said, I don't want it. Says, all I'm going to do is kill you people. I have to kill you. The boy asked him, said, you really mean that? And he said, yes, I mean it. Says, well, he said, you're going to kill me first because I can't stand to see the girl be stabbed. He said, well, I'll do that. So he started stabbing the kid in the back. He told me 10, 12 times, but he had so much blood in him I couldn't tell. I knew he was stabbed several times. And then he stabbed the girl. This guy is a pathological, psycho killer. There's no doubt about it.
Here I sit, loaded clip, about to ride. Brought the SSI place with a ski mask when I arrive. My shrink told me I'm crazy, well maybe I'm actually normal. I'll turn you to a ghost for saying that paranormal. Rocking a tuxedo with a bloody tie, time to die. Covered up in particles from all the homicide. Hi, it's nice to meet you, I'm Chinzo and I'm not crazy. Just give me all of your money and you will live maybe. To hell with it, I'm nuts, a motherfucking basket case. I'll mug you for your wallet and hold you upside down for your change. I'm the type of motherfucker to let loose. Killing us, spilling us, shoving machetes in your caboose. I kill for the thrill and I'm painting this sucks. Murdering motherfuckers for pills and drugs. Got a big wad of cash that I took from your stash. Getting high on my own supply that I stole from your ass. Better have my motherfucking money every first of the month. I'm fucked up on crack and I'm a motherfucking killer. Uzi in your face, make your face ooze. Ooh, what you looking at, staring at the face of doom. Pay up, pay up, pay up, ya bitch, get your throat slit. Every penny counts, prick. Motherfucker, what? Motherfucker, what? Motherfucker, what? Psychopathic hustler. Better have my motherfucking money every first of the month. I'm fucked up on crack and I'm a motherfucking killer. Uzi in your face, make your face ooze. Ooh, what you looking at, staring at the face of doom. Pay up, pay up, pay up, ya bitch, get your throat slit. Every penny counts, prick. Motherfucker, what? Motherfucker, what? Motherfucker, what? Psychopathic hustler.
Una vez dije que at your feet. I was blinded by your love and light, but not no more today. I can see. At one time I said I loved you, now I don't mean it. At one time I said I loved you, what was I thinking? I was so crazy. At one time I said I loved you, I'd even give my life up for you. At one time I said I loved you, but you played me like a game. That was yesterday's mistake. Una vez dijiste que amaba, no lo vuelvo a hacer.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Uncovering the Underground Radio Podcast Show. As always, I'm your host, Skippy Ickham of Brutal Business Entertainment, and we would like to thank you for checking out the show tonight. Whether you are listening live or streaming this after the fact, I ask that you click the like button, share button, whatever button they give you, follow. Click that button, because the more that you do that, the more it moves us up the ranking in the podcast community, and it allows more and more people to see the show to become bigger and do bigger and better things. So if you could do that, we would really appreciate it. If you are listening to us out there, you can check us out on any type of device, so you don't have to just do it through Spreaker, which is our hosting site, but you can do it through iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify, Deezer, CastBox, you name it, we're on it. So check us out. Make sure you check out all of our past episodes and obviously all of our future episodes. We would real quick like to thank our sponsors, Tattooed Scumbag Apparel. They make everything from hoodies to sweatpants, socks, beanies, hats, you name it, they make it. I wear it all the time on stage. I wear it at home. I love their gear. You'll love it too. Check them out at tattooedscumbag.com. Use promo code BBE10. You'll get 10% off of your entire order. Again, that's promo code BBE10 for 10% off your order at tattooedscumbag.com. Also, check out Roush Designs, R3 Graphics, 5 Milligram Artwork, and Legion Artwork as well. We'd like to thank all of them for everything that they do for us. We have a very special episode tonight with the Queen of Horrorcore herself, RAZAKEL, and we'll be bringing her on in just a moment. If you are checking us out there, make sure you keep up to date with all of our other events and things that we got going on, whether music, modeling, wrestling, radio, paranormal investigation, or horror reviewing. We have it all at www.teambrutalbusiness.com, and you can find out anything you need to know that's coming up from our team here, and that's teambrutalbusiness.com. So let's go ahead and jump into the main reason that you are listening tonight. We'll go ahead and bring on our guest in just a moment, Rap Game's Evil Queen. If you're looking for that sweet girl next door on the mic, you will not find her here. Music, contests, true crime, hailing from San Antonio, Texas, a writer, rapper, singer, and a force to be reckoned with on stage. Pure, unfiltered, aggressive lyrics with a loyal fan base behind her, and she certainly has that. It is my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to bring on RAZAKEL. How you doing tonight, homie?
Hey, what's up, Skippy? Thank you so much for having me tonight.
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad that you were able to, excuse me, glad you were able to get onto the show tonight and fit us in, us be able to pick your brain a little bit and let the fans out there hear, the inner depths of RAZAKEL.
Definitely. I'm ready. Let's do this.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and just jump into it, kind of traditionally. Why don't you tell me, how long you've been in the scene, even though I know these answers, let our fans out there hear. Because, if I'm thinking correctly, and I don't know the exact year, but I'm thinking somewhere right around 2006 that I at least recall is like the beginning. Is that about right?
Yep, you're correct. I've grown up like writing and singing, like in choir, and I grew up in the church. I was in choir there, and at school, I was in choir at that, and then just like writing stories and poetry, like probably since like 5th, 6th grade up into high school. I've always considered myself like somewhat of a writer. And then around 2005, 2006 is when I really started putting the poetry into motion, because I started meeting producers and people that made beats and started, they were composing music. And it just kind of, I had some friends that were like, well, you write, why don't you just put what you've been writing to music, like it could live through music instead of just on a piece of paper. And I was like, fuck it. Like I guess I could try it. And I tried it one time, and everyone seemed to like it, and I liked it, and I was like, fuck, like, maybe I can do this. And ever since then, it hasn't stopped. So yeah, 2006, I started in like 2005 just fucking around, and then 2006 I started taking it really, really, really seriously, and then that's when the horrorcore genre started, I guess, noticing me more a little bit, and then I guess from then on everything just went fucking crazy, and here we are fucking, 12 years later.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy when you think about it. The time went by really quick. I remember, I wasn't there for the very, very beginning of it, but I knew about you soon after you came out, and have had the pleasure of playing at least 8 to 10 shows with you over the years. So it's
so crazy.
It's pretty crazy when you think about how far away from one another we are. You're halfway across the country. So, but it's always been great playing the shows. I think the very first time we played together was either the first or second Children of the Grave tour.
Wow.
Which was a good time. Yeah, it was a really good time.
Oh, definitely. Those tours were definitely probably the pinnacle of well, not the pinnacle, but back then, you know what I mean? Like, those were definitely some of the defining moments of RAZAKEL, because, not a lot of people really toured back then, it was kind of non-existent back in those MySpace days that people actually hit the road. So the Children of the Grave tours always have a special place in my heart, because that was the first time I had ever, fucking hit the road. Like, I'd hit the road before, I lived in Albuquerque, and of course I went to Santa Fe or Denver or, Dallas, Texas. But that was the first time, those tours were the first time that I went all the way. Where was it? Pittsburgh? It was probably
you were in Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yeah, that was the first times I had ever traveled out there for the music and shit. So that's really dope that there's some history there between us.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, you guys have always done it right. Whenever you came, even back then, as someone I had heard about in the scene but didn't know a whole lot about, and you guys showed up and had a fan base already in my city for you guys. It was a great show, and got a lot of good networking, made some really good connections. That's where met Damien and Gino for the first time, and good times, really good times.
I'm glad, man. I'm glad. Like I said, it was those moments were really important to me. So I'm glad it was a good memory for you too, because I hold those moments close to me.
Absolutely. Now, why don't you tell us, so obviously we know when you got started, but who was it that influenced you when you came out in the scene? Obviously you were writing poetry and you were writing different things that kind of led into rhythmic form with a beat and with music, but who were you listening to at the time that you were like, wow, I really love what they're doing?
Well, it's going to sound like fucking cheese as hell, but I was really into TLC and, let me see, Selena, you know what I mean? I really like a lot of singing, and then to me, TLC was the complete embodiment of female empowerment, but not in a sissy fucking oh, woe is me, I'm the victim type shit. I love TLC because it was well, we got the singer, we got the baritone singer, which is T-Boz, where I'm comfortable singing in that lower voice, and then we got Chili who sings, and then we had Left Eye who rapped. And I always felt man, if I could just kind of combine all of that together, that would be my dream sound. And then of course, there was Esham and Bone Thugs and Harmony, there was always some rap, acid rap like that back in the day. And of course, I can't lie, there was the ICP, the Twisted, all of that. But I was very hesitant on I guess listening to too much of the underground, when it came to Psychopathic and shit like that. I was really hesitant on listening to too much of it because I didn't want to be influenced too much on that end, because I don't want to sound like anyone else. You know what I mean? I don't want to bite a certain style. So I made it a point to listen to other shit, but never delve deep into it, because I wanted to make my own sound, So yeah, for the most part, I grew up very I love pop music, I love singing and, not dancing so much, but I love the music that kind of makes your head bob, makes you want to move your body and shit. So it might sound cheesy as fuck, but that's kind of what inspired me, I guess.
I don't think it sounds cheesy at all. I mean, it's nice to have very different influences, and I myself listen to a lot of music different than what I make. I honestly don't listen to a lot of horrorcore or honestly a lot of really
Same.
dark, like Wicked style stuff. I mean, I really listened to ICP when I was younger and Twisted and a lot of things like that. But over the years, I have always been kind of more of your metal fan and some really just off-the-wall shit that has kind of shaped me. But I still love horrorcore, but I don't want to listen to it consistently because I wanted to always sound different. So that's, I think, a certain type of mind state that we share.
Right. And I don't want to get, like, you know, like burnt out from it because, you know, well, I'm sure you know, like, we've been in this game so long that, well, I don't know if you feel the same, but, like, I feel like I've heard it all. It's very hard for me to be like, oh shit, like that's fucking different as fuck.
I agree.
You know, because I feel like I've heard it all. And, you know, the people and the music that I do like, I mean, it's mostly like my team and like affiliates and stuff like that. Like, of course they're talented. Of course it's dope. Yeah, I listen to them, you know, like I'm very proud of it. But it's because, how can I explain it? I'm very proud of what everyone does. And I know my team is very different. I know I'm very different. So like I hold music to like a certain, I guess, like stature, if that makes sense. So like I keep all that shit like very personal and close to me, and I fucking love it. But outside of what I listen to, it's very rare that I find, I guess, like other shit to throw into the mix. You know, I'm not trying to be a hater.
No, it makes
I'm
sense.
not trying to be a hater.
You're
but
strict on
it's
what you
hard,
like.
You know? Yeah, it's hard to really find something to find something new because, like I said, like I feel like it all has been done. But every once in a while, though, I can't lie. Like every once in a while, there is some shit that comes out where I'm like, damn, like that's what I like to hear. I like to hear people that are like, you know, genuine and come up with their own sound, their own look, their own, you know, like their attitude and, you know, like how they present themselves and, you know, shit like that. Like that's what I love. I don't like carbon copies. And I think for a minute there in the underground, a lot of people were trying to be like someone else, you know? So I'm glad that like the underground is kind of taking a new, I mean, it seems like it's like evolving in a way, you know? So I'm really happy with the way that the underground's progressing right now because I think people are really starting to be like more genuine and they're really trying to like push themselves as their own entity as opposed to, oh, I ride with this person or this group or this label type shit.
Yeah, no, it definitely has taken some changes over the years. If you watch it from where it was to now and the different groups and the different cliques and all of it, how it's evolved and kind of been like a steady wave into what it is now, it has definitely been an evolution from just a lot of different aspects.
Oh, yeah. You know, I've said this like on a few other interviews too, like, even just, you know, how like we were talking about Children of the Grave tour and all that, like even that, like even from the MySpace days up until now, like I know you remember the days when like touring wasn't even a fucking thing. Music videos weren't even a fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like everything was very like, it's just horrorcore and that's it.
Yeah,
and you know, and now it's like everyone's on the road. Everyone's opening for this person and this person. And there's all these different kinds of cliques and it's dope, man. It's dope to, I know like there's like a lot of new people jumping in and out, but like, you know, like people like me and you, like we've been in this shit for so long that we've actually seen the evolution of it. And it's like, it's pretty humbling, you know?
It really is. I mean, it's good to see and know that you've been able to experience different pieces of hip hop and the evolution of it and in the scene itself. And I mean, I think it just goes with everything. It's all changing. It's always something you kind of have to adapt to. Something I bring up normally on every one of my episodes is look at where music has come from before the internet and handing out tapes and doing touring, like you said before, like I don't know, not the internet itself, but let's say before Facebook era, when it was the MySpace era, and even before that, there wasn't really ways to get out there, so you had to really push your tape, and then these sites came out, social media came out, digital MP3s came out from CD, and then it just flipped the game upside down.
Oh yeah, and you know, like I didn't come from that. Like when I started doing music, it was the MySpace era. And the only reason like I had gotten picked up in such a short amount of time, like, you know, in a year, is because of the internet. You know what I mean? Because I was able to put my music and my voice out there. So I didn't come from like that generation of like, you know, like handing out tapes and going out on the street and like doing all that shit. I would have if I would have started music sooner. But like, you know, just saying like that's kind of like why the internet was so important back then, is because it gave everybody a fucking voice, you know, and some survived and some didn't.
Well, yeah, it's interesting because when that happened, it did give, as you said, everyone a voice, and good and bad. You started to come across a lot of artists across the country or across the world that you would have never heard before, because before then it was going to FYE or going to Sam Goody, On Cue, these different stores, and picking out, as we talked about one other episode, picking out random albums. I'd go in with the intent of buying 5 albums. I'd pick 2 that I really wanted to get, and then I'd usually buy 2 or 3 of just random off of badass artwork or something that looked like it'd be a good album. And sometimes I was right, sometimes I was wrong, but that's how you found out about music. And then all of a sudden, internet comes out, and here comes MySpace, and it's like, whoa, like, boom, game changer.
Yep.
It's interesting.
Yep. I mean, I remember that shit from like back in the day too, like when, you know, like my old favorite bands like used to come out with their new CDs or whatever, and I would literally go stand in line until fucking Sam Goody opened. You know, with my fucking $10 there in my hand, going in and like buying it and being so happy and actually appreciating like unwrapping the plastic from the CD and looking at the artwork and reading the lyrics and, oh my God, don't scratch my CD. You better put it back in the fucking case right. I remember those days.
It's one of the
for
best
sure.
highs there is. Like I put that up there with a drug. It's like a high itself. I remember being a kid and coming out and having 2 or 3 albums, cutting it open, or even one, and popping it in, and that's, like you said, the smell of the CD, the feel of it, the booklet.
Yup.
And it was like,
Yup.
yeah. And kids will know they won't get that anymore. You can't get that by clicking a download button.
I know. But there's still some collectors out there, luckily. Luckily.
Well, speaking about collectors, you have recently put, I think, your music on the new album onto vinyl. Is that correct?
Yes, this is the first time that I have ever done the whole vinyl thing, and yeah, like it's fucking crazy. You know, it's crazy because it's like going backwards in a way. You know, like I wasn't really like a big like vinyl collector, but like my dad and my brother were. And, you know, like when we ordered them for the pre-orders that I had, I ordered an extra one for myself, like for my studio wall and shit. And like just even looking at the packaging and, you know, like it's so cool. Like, of course the CD looks cool, but when it's like a vinyl, it's like fucking massive.
Yeah,
you know,
it
like
is
the
big.
sleeve is so big. And I was like, oh my God, like the artwork, like I could appreciate the artwork even more because it was so like just bigger and more transparent. I could see like the detail, and then just turning it around and then pulling the vinyl out and seeing the sticker on it and all the little like lines. And it was really, it's definitely like a moment in my career that I'm fucking very proud of. And now I'm like, well, fuck, now I got to do all my albums in vinyl.
You know what, though? That is dope that you did that.
I'm glad, man. Thank you. I'm glad we did. Like, we were kind of on the fence about it. We were like, should we do it? Like, should we not do it? And every time I drop an album, like, there's always those few fans that are like, when are you going to do vinyl? When are you going to do vinyl? And I'm like, dude, those bitches aren't very cheap, you know? But
Not
if you
at all.
really want them, we'll try. And finally we did it. And I'm glad. Like, I had different pre-order bundles, and that was like the highest tier of the pre-order bundle, and you know, like they all sold out, and I'm super fucking happy for that. And
I've seen that.
because of that, like now I wanna do more vinyl, because obviously there's some people that, you know, dig that shit. I'm not the only one.
No, there's definitely collectors out there that want to have that, and I think it's a good piece to have. Now, you obviously have a very large, for people that don't, you know, maybe haven't seen you live yet, she has a very large merch, you know, section. It's very impressive, a lot of different items. It doesn't come easily to have that much merch. I've been around a long time myself. I have quite a merch display, and this shit makes mine look like nothing. So if you haven't checked out Razakel's merch, please do so. You can check that out at, I just seen a link a couple seconds ago. They're moving so fast on the chat, it's gone.
RazakelStore.com.
Okay, RazakelStore.com. Check that out. There it is. And pick up some merch from there. Now, why don't we talk a little bit about the new album? Obviously, you have a new project that just dropped. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, my new album, Muerte Tan Dulce, just came out October 28th, I believe. and this is my first full length, I guess. It's my first Spanish album, and it's something I've been working about for like probably a year now. And yeah, like, you know, my catalog of just music is pretty expansive as is. You know, I think I have like maybe like probably like 10 to 11 English albums, of course, and then a Spanish album is something always I wanted to do. Like, I always wanted to cross over at some point, you know what I mean? Like, I know I have a pretty big Latin fan base, and they've always asked me to do something in Spanish. And, you know, years ago I was like, nah, like maybe a line here and then, like, I'll do it, but not a full Spanish album. Like, are you crazy? Because that shit's hard. You know, it's really, really fucking hard. And then, it was like a couple years ago where I was like, man, I think I could do it. I think I can do it. Like, if I can just plan it out right and not jump the gun, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to suck my dick too fast. You know, like, I really wanted to, like, just do it right, like, plan it out, pick the right songs, and that's why I kind of formulated it the way that I did. So for, like, example, they're not all like brand new songs. All the songs on the album are like older English songs I translated into Spanish with some help. And I always knew I wanted to do that, like kind of like a greatest hits type thing, or like a, you know, like the popular RAZAKEL songs like Backpack, Homicidal Activity, shit like that. And me and my friend Fatty Garcia, we sat and we retranslated them into English. And then he actually got his mother involved, and she helped us. Well, we translated them and she helped us like finesse it, because the Spanish language is very tedious, and it's very, very fucking confusing. So
it is very confusing.
Like, it is, like, it's a lot of, like, it's almost ass backwards, and you have to feminize certain words. So, like, for example, death is muerte, but in female form it's muerta. But if you're dead, estás muerto. You know what I'm saying? So, like, everything is feminized or masculine, and it's so hard to find those words. And, like, words like the word the, you could say el, la, lo. Like, it's so hard. Este, esta, you know? So I know what I'm doing, but I just wanted everything to be, like, perfect because, you know, because of my Latin fan base that I already have. I didn't want to, like, disrespect the culture. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted everything to be as perfect as it could. So I did the best I could. Fatty helped me the best he could. And then he was like, you know what, I'm going to get my mom involved in this. Like, she's Mexican all the way. And he brought her into it, and she helped us. And it just, you know, like, once we got the ball rolling, it just, like, snowballed into the whole album, you know? So it was a lot of work, from translating to going back and forth to translating to me recording references, to him recording references, fixing my mistakes, me going back, changing some lyrics I didn't like, you know, like, it was a fucking process. And then when all was said and done, the actual, like, the final recording process, that was probably, like, that was hell. For me personally, like, it was hell. That was the most, like, challenging thing I've ever put myself through. And, like, some of these sessions were, like, 6 hours long, and I'm in here, like, you know, I can't have the fan on because, like, you'll hear the fan in the mic, you know, so I'm over here, like, sweating bullets and fucking crying and, like, beating myself up because, you know, like, I don't like to punch, you know, like, I don't like to do, like, 4 bars at a time. Like, if I have a 16-bar verse, I'm spitting a 16-bar verse front to back. And in English, it's very easy for me, you know, like, I can do that all day. But in Spanish, it was super fucking hard because I'd go and go and go, and then I'd get to, like, the last 2 words, and I'd fuck it up, and then what does that mean? You got to start all over.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I had to do that. I had to do that more than a few times with each song, and it tore me down. Like, it really tore me down, and it frustrated me, and I was super discouraged. And at points, I was like, "What the fuck am I doing? Like, why did I even agree to do this?" But it was already too late to turn back. You know, like, I had already been halfway, and I was like, "Fuck it, we got to do it." And finally, everything came out great. And now that I go back and listen to it, and the feedback that I've been getting, I'm like, man, that shit was worth it. And just to be able to, like, challenge myself, because you know, like when you get comfortable and shit's too easy, it gets boring. You know, well, for me anyway, you know what I mean? Like, I need that constant challenge, like with anything. Like, I need to be just tested and pushing myself somehow. And this album definitely, like, fucking pushed me over the edge for sure.
You put a lot of work in on it. I mean, I can tell by listening to it, and I could go to be honest, I don't know a fucking word you're saying the entire time. But it's dope. You can tell the thought pattern and process that went into translating it to presenting it, the way you recorded it. I mean, it sounds fierce. I don't need to know the words to catch the feelings in it and be like, damn, like, okay, I'm digging it. So it's very dope.
That was something I was going for too, like, because I knew that, you know, like, they are older songs, so in my head I'm like, well, even though people don't understand it, they should kind of get the gist of what's going on, because these songs have been released. Some of these songs have been released for a very long time in English, but for the people that didn't know these songs, I felt like it was even more important for me to go like more harder, you know, and make my shit even like more aggressive, or my cadence to be even more perfect, because even though you can't understand it, you could still listen to the beat and you could still tell what's rhyming, and you could still feel the emotion that I'm putting in. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you pick up on it. And that's what I was going to tell you earlier, is if you're not going through what you went through to write this album, because you said there was moments where you're just like, I want to quit, fuck this, why did I even take this project on? But if you didn't go through all that work and trying to transcribe it over and everything you did, it wouldn't have turned out the way that it did. So I think it was all worth it in the end. I think you have something to be proud of. As you said, a brand new album, a Spanish album, you know, it has just a lot of stuff that had come with that, you know, the vinyl that you had mentioned, that being, you know, kind of an awesome thing. And I started to get into that question earlier and kind of sidestepped, is if you had to, if you had to pick, you know, your favorite merch item that you've ever had created, would it be the vinyl of this album, or would it be something else that you've had made?
I think it would be the vinyl right now. I really do think it would be that, because, you know, like I said, like my catalog's pretty expansive, and like I really feel like this, you know, like this is the newest album, but I'm going like the old school way of pressing it. So it kind of brings like the old school into, you know, like merging with the new school with me. So like it's like a trophy, you know what I mean? To me personally, it's a trophy. Like this whole album is like, even when I was about to drop the album, like I had told myself, like, look, like, Raz, you know this album is not going to do well. It's not like, you know what I mean? Like, once again, I'm not going to suck my own dick. Like, it's going to do okay, but, like, it's not really for everybody. Like, this is kind of, like, for you. Like, could you do it? Like, you know, like, this is my language. My parents are from Central America. It was, like, a way to pay homage and, you know, a way to please, like, my Latin fan base. But I never told myself, like, oh, my God, like, this thing's going to blow up. Like, I'm going to sell out, blah, blah, blah. You know, so I'm glad that it got, like, a way better response than it did. But, like, even if it would have flopped, I still would have treated it like the way I am now. You know what I'm saying? Because it's more of, like, a personal accomplishment, especially after everything I went through for it to even fucking happen. So I'm proud of it. And, like, I'm lucky that people are digging it. And, you know, like, even people that don't understand it, I'm lucky that, like you like it and other people like it too, because it's like, it's just, you know, it's that quote, like, music is the universal language. And I'm just so glad that in a way, like, even though people don't understand it, they understand it through like a feeling, you know, and I'm just super honored that, you know, people like it.
No, you did it. You definitely nailed it, and people are digging it right now. I've seen some good reactions so far. I enjoy it. So I think it would be a good time to let some people hear it. What one do you want to jump into?
Let's do Homicidal Activity. In Spanish it's called Actividad Homicida.
All right, you heard it from her, folks. I can't talk tonight, I'm sorry. Let me go ahead and jump into
okay.
The song, and we will let you hear it right now on Uncovering the Underground. We'll be right back.
¿Será cierta esta historia? ¿Quién sabe? Algunos sostienen que sí, otros dicen que no. Pero los ancianos la cuentan a los niños, tal como la oyeron cuando ellos mismos eran niños. Y algún día, los niños de hoy la contarán en la misma forma a sus propios hijos y nietos. Esta es la historia de la cabeza en mi bolsa.
Soy la pesadilla del barrio, no me mires. Dices que eres peligroso, no chingues. Estoy lleno de travesuras. Tengo hambre de carne humana, intestinos y sangre. Yo soy homicida. Yo soy homicida. Yo soy homicida. Me encanta la actividad homicida. Yo soy homicida. Yo soy homicida. Yo soy homicida. Me encanta la actividad homicida. Estoy aquí sodomizando tus oídos. Soy la única que puede dominar este sonido. Asusto mi competencia, no pueden eliminarme. Soy una alta calibre, bastante. Estás en peligro, no puedes escapar hasta que no estés muerto. No vivirás en paz. El sonido de tu último aliento fue un alivio. Vete a la mierda con tus ídolos. La gente siempre trata de clasificarme. Entiende por favor que no puedes matarme. Te sacaré de tu miseria. Yo causo histeria. Yo soy homicida. Yo soy homicida. Yo soy homicida. Me encanta la actividad homicida. Yo soy homicida. Yo soy homicida. Yo soy homicida. Me encanta la actividad homicida. Tienes miedo como un cordero en un matadero. Aquí viene el dolor, necesitas quedarte quieto. Quiero ser el testigo mientras te estás muriendo. Soy la razón de tu sufrimiento. Crucé la línea otra vez, puedo hacerlo peor. Vas a ver, mi conciencia está muerta. Te mataré, me vale mierda. Yo soy homicida. Yo soy homicida. Yo soy homicida. Me encanta la actividad homicida. Yo soy homicida. Yo soy homicida. Yo soy homicida. Me encanta la actividad homicida. Una casa abandonada es donde me encontrarás. Soy una dosis de terror lista para tus venas. Lo mantengo brutal, nunca suave, 100% sangriento. Tú sabes, como Jeffrey Dahmer preservaré tu cuerpo, cortando pedazos de carne de tu pecho. Actividad homicida, matando mujeres, acosando a mi presa todos los jueves. Soy la dueña de la muerte. Mi espada quiere verte. Desorden obsesivo, compulsivo, nunca duermo. Nada es perfecto hasta que estés muerto. Yo soy homicida. Yo soy homicida. Yo soy homicida. Me encanta la actividad homicida. Yo soy homicida. Yo soy homicida. Yo soy homicida. Me encanta la actividad homicida. Estás enfermo, te sacaré de tu miseria. Yo causo histeria. Estás enfermo, te sacaré de tu miseria. Yo causo histeria. Soy la pesadilla del barrio, no me mires. Dices que eres peligroso, no chingues. Estoy lleno de travesuras. Tengo hambre de carne humana, intestinos y sangre. Yo soy homicida. Yo soy homicida. Yo soy homicida. Me encanta la actividad homicida. Yo soy homicida. Yo soy homicida. Yo soy homicida. Me encanta la actividad homicida.
And we are back on Uncovering the Underground radio podcast show. I'm your host, Skippy Ickham of Brutal Business Entertainment. We just listened to, I will let Razakel say it, it's homicidal activity, but in Spanish it is, how do you pronounce it?
Actividad homicida.
Exactly. I'll let her say it. Awesome.
Killed it. You killed it.
Yeah, I tried to. Awesome song. I was listening to it before the show. I actually listened to it the other day as well, but I was listening to it before the show, and it's fierce. It gives you, like I said, that tone that you don't have to actually speak the language to get the sentiment behind it. But I know the original song as well, so it helps. But I mean, you feel it either way.
Right. Thank you. That's what I was going for. So I'm glad I got across.
Now, you said you were working on this album pretty hard. How long did it take you from like the starting process of thinking you were going to put out a Spanish album and really starting to work on it until you finished it?
Okay, so I had one of my albums is called Muerta, and that came out, I cannot remember when that came out, probably like 2000, I'm just guesstimating here, but I want to say like maybe like 2012 is when that one came out, and obviously the name is in Spanish, Muerta. That's the feminized version of the word death in Spanish. And in one of the intro songs, the self-titled song, Muerta, there's one line that I say in there in Spanish, and it's Estoy muerta adentro, compasión no lo siento, which means I'm dead inside, so I feel no compassion. And that was like the first time I had ever written a line in Spanish, like in an English song. I call it Spanglish. Like when you move from English to Spanish like that.
Yeah.
And that was the only line that I had on that song. But that was when I was like, you know what? If I already had like the guts to even write it, and I wrote it correctly, and then to record it and to record it correctly too, because you got to think like when you're rolling your R's and shit, like adentro, compasión no lo siento, you know what I mean? Like there's a certain like dialect and accents that you have to add to certain words. When I did that, I was like, it's possible that this could be a thing. Like it's possible that I could keep doing this. So the spark started then. And then it wasn't up until like maybe 2 years ago where like shit was really like, should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? Like I think I was questioning myself for a minute. You know what I mean? Because it's a scary thing. It's a very, very scary thing to cross over.
It is. It's either a maker or a breaker for sure.
Right. And like I said, like I wasn't very confident in it, so it took me a little bit to go ahead and like build that confidence. Like even that album is kind of like a game changer in my career, because from that album shit kind of like shifted, so I was still finding myself, like still finding my sound and shit. So I think it was like about 2 years ago was when I really, really, really like started being like, okay, I think you can do this. I think you could do this. And then I think it was like after Perfectly Disgusting or Gorse Truly, I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and make this happen. Like I need to stop doubting myself and stop procrastinating and just fucking do it. So I started with the self-titled track, which is Muerte Tan Dulce, and the English version of that one is called Softly So Sweetly. And me and Fatty wrote that one, and I recorded it, and it was definitely a lot easier than any of the other tracks on the album. So, but it felt like kind of natural too, but I think it's because like the song was still new for me in English, to where like I was still in that mode. You know what I mean? Like the song was
still in
new,
that fresh mode. Yeah.
Right. So it came a little bit easier to me. And I dropped that, I think, at the beginning of last year, maybe. And that was out for a minute. And when that came out, like everyone was like, what the fuck? Like, this is crazy. And, it got a really good response. And after that song, like I already knew, like me and Fatty had already talked. We were like, we're going to go ahead and do the Spanish album. And I already started like getting the beats and sending them to him. And we already started brainstorming. And then I put the first single out. And when I put that first single out, like a lot of people were like, you should just do a whole album like this. And like, me and Fatty would laugh. We'd be like, ha ha, like we're already working on it, motherfuckers. Because everyone was like, you should do more. And we're like, we're like knee deep in this shit right now. So we finally just kept doing it. And then, like I did have some tours going on, and then I did have other albums that I was working on. So it kind of like, I was kind of like going back and forth with it, And then when I would finally get back home, then it would be like tunnel vision on the album. And, I want to say like the spark started probably in like 2012, 2013, and then like the seriousness of actually like building it and like making the actual like the sounds and writing probably started like maybe like a year and a half ago.
Okay.
So it's been a lot of work, and I like to think that I work fast. You know what I mean? Because I do work fast. I like to work under pressure. Like I like deadlines, and I'm an asshole. Like I'll have a deadline, and the last month, like my best shit will come out. You know?
Well,
like,
you have
I
a hell of
really
a
love to
catalog,
work
so
under deadline.
you have a hell of a
I know.
catalog out that, I mean, it proves it in itself that you work hard and you work fast because, I mean, you've been around, even as we talked about earlier, 2006 until now, that's 13 years later, and in 13 years you have out roughly 11 albums. I mean, that's phenomenal.
So
I mean,
crazy.
That's
It's like so
dedication.
crazy. Like that's like a kid. Like I could have had a kid, but nah, I'm doing horrorcore music instead.
I got a bunch of albums though. Who needs them? You know, but no, that's great that you have a testament that you've built. You know, the merch, the backing, the fan base, the cult following. I mean, you have built something very impressive. I mean, you have something to be proud of. To look stepping out in the scene, as you said, in the MySpace days and coming out at that time, to fast forwarding and having 60,000 followers just on Facebook alone, not counting all the other followers on all the other platforms, which easily, you know, if you add them in, you're going to be upwards of 100,000 fans. That's pretty impressive, you know, and you have a lot of people that are coming out to see you no matter when you're playing, how often you play, and you tour a lot. I mean, let's talk a little bit about that. You were constantly on the road.
Oh yeah. We bought our van about I think about a year ago. Also, I could be wrong, maybe two. Yeah, we bought our van. We got our trailer last year, and you know, ever since that, that's like another fucking pinnacle for me too. It's like we had always dreamed and talked about it. Like me and the team, me, Jimmy, and Elmer, we were always like, one day we're gonna get a van. One day, you know, like fuck renting these vans for all these tours because that hurt us. You know, like every time we did these tours, we had to rent those vans, and those are like almost $5,000. You know, if you really think about it, for a month long.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we're renting these vans. We have to pay the gas. We have to extend fucking warranties, and we can't fuck up the van, and we got to go get oil changes, and you know, like crazy shit. And we always told ourselves like, we're gonna get a van. It's gonna happen. And we gave ourselves like a 5-year limit. And then when we did the Blood on My Chucks tour, I think it was, something had happened to where we weren't in the position to rent a van, and we were like, well, what the fuck do we do? And we were like, well, I guess we have to buy a van. And like we had to pull some strings, like we had to do some crazy shit, you know, to like get a van. Like pretty much, like we knew we could get a van, but we were waiting for the right time to like save up for it, right? And you know, make it happen. So it happened, and I'm glad it did. We didn't expect it to happen so soon, but since it did happen, it like put our ass in gear even more, you know, because now we're like, well, now we got to fucking really pay this thing off, and now we have to. Okay, we have this van now, so now we have to go on tour. Like,
yeah, I was just going to say, it obligates you.
It.
It becomes an obligation that now, no matter whether we want to do it or not, we have to be. So it's already a job to you, but now it becomes, it has to be my job. So it's kind of both.
Exactly.
But, you know, but that does put you in gear to push yourself even further and harder to continue to do even more great things.
Oh, definitely. And that's when the tours have like really, really, you know, like started like kicking off. And, you know, I think last year we did 2 tours, which is, to me, I think that's fair because we take about 2 to 3 months to book the actual tours because it's hard. You know what I mean? Like booking in the underground is not as easy as most people would think because it's the underground is still growing.
It's
brutal. You know what I mean? And a lot of people can't pay for these shows. And at the same time, like we can't do this for free either. You know what I mean? Like we have to make sure we get out there okay, and we have to make sure we have, you know, a roof over our heads wherever we're going. So it's like a double-edged sword, but like it's definitely like because in my case, like all of this is do or die. I don't have a plan B. I don't go to school. I don't have a job. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, it's all very, 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 yeah, it's cutthroat. So for me, I'm like, oh, time to go on tour. Let's go on tour. Oh, we only have $500 in our bank account and we need $500 for merch. Spend it all. You know what I mean? Like everything here is very, very fucking do or die, but like to me, I think that's very important. You know, it's very important to like take that risk, and you know what I mean? Because you can't float. You know what I mean? Like, you can't float with the shit. Like I said, it's do or die, sink or swim. And for us, like, luckily, because I always doubt myself, and I'm always like questioning and second guessing, and I'm like, oh, should we do this? Should we not do it? Like, is this a bad idea? But like, luckily, I have a team behind me that's like, we can do this. Like, we can do this. Like, everything is going the right way. We need to do this, you know. And I'm lucky for that, you know, like to even have a team behind me that like believes in me and believes in this whole movement, you know. So yeah, touring is very, very important, and we're not stopping. Like, we already have about 2 tours planned out for next year. So hopefully we'll be hitting all the states. Well, not all the states, but as many as we can. But, you know, every time we tour, we always hit up a new market. And every time we hit up this new market, like I always tell myself, if we could just go to these new places, like even these tiny ass little places, like, I mean, where did I see you last? Fucking Turtle Creek, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it was an interesting little place.
I mean?
I'd never been there before.
Even these little towns, me neither. Even these little towns, like if we can just go there once and just make our mark, you know what I mean, win over some people, that's something. And like even that show, I think that show was that was a success, you know what I mean? It was a success. There were people there. People had fun. They stayed around until the end of the show, and it was a good thing, and the promoter was happy. The promoter's going to bring us out again. And, you know, I always tell myself that, like, if we could just hit up each place or each little town or each market once and win them over once, then that's a win. You know, it's a win. So, yeah, touring's very, very, very important. Shows in general are important, but touring's very, very, very important. And I'm just, you know, I'm lucky to be in the position to where we can keep doing it.
Now, if you had to pick one, which would be your favorite one that you've done so far over all the years? I mean, we're talking Children of the Grave, we're talking Gorge Truly, all of them over the years. Which would be, you know, the one that you say that was my funnest tour?
Oh my God! Well, they have all been great. Like I definitely would say first off, like you know, Children of the Grave, of course, just because, you know, Dark Half, they're you know, they're my best friends, and I had a lot of memories with Gino, you know, like rest in peace, of course. And of course, like a big part of it is Children of the Grave, because that's like kind of where I started in my first tours and shit. But right now, I definitely want to say the last tour, the Bump in the Night tour. I definitely want to say that was my favorite, because everything just came full circle. So get this. So for the Children of the Grave tour, you said you were at like a couple of them. So do you remember like our lighting rig and everything? Like, you know, like we had all the lights and all the fancy stuff for that tour. Well, when we were doing the Bump in the Night tour, my old tour manager from those tours, we got in contact again, and he lives in California now. And we had our first show in Oregon, and we were going through California, and I was like, you know, Joe, like, I'd love to visit you, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, you know what, like, if you come over here, like, I will gift you that whole light set from the Children of the Grave tour. I will gift you all of the lights, and I will gift you the 4 microphones that we used for those tours. He's like, just come over here, I'll set it up, I'll show you guys how to use them, how to run them, how to break them down. And we went out there to, I think it was Red Bluff, California, and he had it all set up in his garage, or not his garage, in his driveway. And he showed Jimmy and the rest of the team like how to set it up, how to run the lights, how to break it down. And like, you know, we had those lights, and then after that, you know, like even if some of the shows were small, you know, I was like, no, we're using everything. Like, we need to treat every show like there's a fucking 1,000 people here. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to half-ass shit. Like, we're going to use it. And every show we set up all these lights, and Jimmy learned how to, you know, program everything, and he was sitting there doing lights every night. And like, to me, that's why this tour was so special, because it felt like everything came back full circle. You know what I'm saying? Like, from just the lights and the microphones that I used from my first tours to come back around on this time, where I had like my new team, like Donna Rias and Hard Jaws and Genosha. You know what I mean? Like, it was really humbling for like everything to come back around and share with like the new generation, you know? So And besides that, like, Jimmy and Elmer, like, they pretty much like manage these tours. And this tour was definitely like the most tight knit, like ran, like everything, like it was a machine, like the past tours before have been good, but we were still learning, like we were still learning like everything from mileage to how to set up shit, how to set up merch, like everything was a learning experience. But this tour was definitely where like every single thing was on point, and like I could walk into that venue and know that everything was good, because before I'd have to walk in and be like, well, what's up with that? Why is that set up like that? Because I'm picky too. You know what I mean? Like, I may not be there like setting everything up, but when I get there, I'm like a quality control nut. I'm like, well, I don't like how that banner's set up. I don't like how those lights look. And, they go and fix all of that shit. And this was like the first time that I didn't have to nitpick anything, because everything was on point. So definitely the Bump in the Night tour, it definitely set like the bar for sure. Like now I'm like, how is it going to get better? Because if it gets better than this, then I'm like, damn, we're going to be coasting. Because it was really good.
Well, that's what you want. That's what you want to aim for. Is the fact that, as you said, the last several have been great experiences. They've been good tours. You've been learning from each of them. Things have been getting better until you formed your own team. Your own team's helping you when on tour now, so it's set up the way that you need it to be. So now it becomes more of a full production rather than I'm showing up and I'm having to do everything. It's I'm showing up and able to perform and focus on what I need to be focusing on, which is performing.
Exactly. So I'm very lucky, and I'm very grateful, and and same for the team. Like we're all very lucky, and we're all very grateful, and it's only we finally have like built this like foundation, and now it's just like riding the wave and making sure that everything goes smoothly.
Yeah, just stay focused, and it certainly will. I mean, you just got to follow the same recipe. You kind of add things and minus things out, and adjust it as needed. But just follow the recipe, and then you're destined for success. Obviously.
Definitely. I'm very, very fucking grateful.
Let's take a look here. I had some different things and different thoughts I wanted to run across you tonight. I mean, well, I guess before we do that, I did want to ask: is there any? You said there is some additional tours we can expect next year. Don't have to speak much on it, but I mean, we can expect to be seeing you a good bit.
Yes, we have. I do plan on hitting the road next year, probably maybe June or July. I'm going to be hitting the road with Genosha X and HB Grizzly. So we're going to do like a girl tour kind of. I mean, We'll have some guys with us, of course. But the goal is to go ahead and get them back out on the road. HB's never been on tour, so I think it's really important to put her on tour because she needs to be put out there and in front of a lot of people. I think it's very important to put her out. And then Genosha, I've already been on tours. I've already been on like 2 tours with her, and she kills it every time. So I definitely want to fucking bring her out. And that's one thing I'm really proud of, like with the whole Team She thing, is that it is mostly like female dominated. You know what I'm saying? Like we do have, we definitely do have more females than guys, but I think that's really dope because I don't think there's ever been labels like that, so I'm really, really proud of like the girls that I do have, and the guys, of course, too, obviously, but like the girls, I'm really, really fucking proud of them. So that's definitely something we plan on doing next year is Razakel and the Spice Girls, Genosha X and HB the Grizzly. And we do have a couple other people that are going to be with us, but I don't want to say who just yet.
No, that's fine. Keep the secrets. We'll wait for them, and anxiously wait for your answers and telling us what we're going to do. But that sounds like a really dope tour. And as you said, it's really really cool how you guys have kind of done the female-dominated label and movement in underground horrorcore wicked scene, because as you said, that hasn't been done. So that is the first of its kind, and that's not like first of its kind recently. That's the first of its kind in underground horrorcore. So it's
I'm very, very proud of them. And it's not like just like putting girls on a team and we want more girls than the guys. Like I really do think that the girls that are on the team, like we are badasses.
Yeah, you know what guys I mean? All
like
kill
the
it.
Music, the music we put out is badass. The content we put out is badass, and like we're all very strong, empowered women. But like we're not little bitches about it. You know what I mean? Like we spit just as hard as the guys, and it's a dope thing. And then the guys that we do have, like, they respect us like we are one of them. You know what I mean? It's never like, oh, we're better than her or she's better than me. Like, everyone's just so on the level, and we all support each other. And yeah, man, the whole Team She thing, like, it's definitely like one of the best things that's ever happened to me, and I'm very fucking grateful.
Having a solid team that you know has your back, that you have theirs, that you get along, you understand the purpose, that no one's better than anybody else. As you said, you work as a unit, you build up, you rise together, you stay together.
Exactly.
It's a good thing to have. I have that myself, and it's very motivating and allowing you to do the things that you want to do, and as everyone can kind of reach those pinnacles that they have for themselves when you stick together. So I'm glad to see that she's doing it, and you guys got hell of a team. Why don't you tell us, pretty much who is all on the team? I know you mentioned a few of them, but to the crowd listening out there, let them know who all is on She.
Yes. Okay. So it is Genosha X, HB the Grizzly, Don Orias, Hard Jaws, Diabolic the Monster, and me, and then the Slice Girls.
It's a nice little lineup right there.
It is a pretty decent lineup. It is a lineup. Like, it's crazy. It's like, I feel like there's so many of us sometimes, and like there's been a couple interviews where I like forget one person or the other, and I'm like, fuck. Because it's hard to like keep us all on track sometimes, but I did it right tonight, yes.
You nailed it.
You did it right.
It is very hard sometimes, trust me. I know personally, but you killed it. Donna Rice said, we are all artists, gender, race, orientation, shit shouldn't matter. We are all a powerhouse and bring out the best in each other. Yep, that's 100. And that's it. 100. That's exactly what we're all in it for. What some of us are in it for. I don't want to say all of us because it's actually very few, but it's good to see other crews that have the same type of mentality. And it's all about hip hop. It's all about family. It's all about having a good time, giving people good music, and being a part of a good movement. Oh yeah, definitely. And one thing I do want to say about the team too is like, a lot of us have like been in this game for a fucking long time. You know what I mean? Like, I've been in this for a long time. I know Dawn's been in this for a really long time. A lot of us, Diabolic, like, we've been in this shit for a fucking minute. And, we've been on different teams and different labels, and, we've done this and that. But I really feel like once, like, this team came together, like, everything kind of shifted for all of us, And I feel like, since we're not really new to this game, that when we put this team together, it kind of felt new all over again, and it kind of like boosted us and rebooted us, rebooted like everything for us. And, like, we all have like this mind state and this, this unity that I feel like a lot of people, kind of, like, I feel you have a team, but you know what I'm saying? Like, when you look outside of the team, you look at everyone else, like, you could see it. Yeah. You could see, I don't want to say it's like the fakeness, but you could see that a lot of it is very just, it's popularity. It's not love. It's not love at all. It's very sharky out there. And I mean, and it's like we build up a fish tank and put ourselves in it, so instead of out of it. So it's like they're all out there. We're staying in here. We're cool where we're at. We don't want to be a part of the rest of those sharky bastards out there because it's
definitely.
It's a fucked up scene. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that will truly act like they're in it for you and that they have your back, but they're really only doing it to ride coattails and things like that. So when you get a team that is outside of that, it's nice because there's a lot of people who try to ride that fake wave,
Oh yeah, definitely. And like, I know this too because we have been in this so long that like it's so easy to see and like point out and call out, and it's just it's just a fulfilling like feeling of what's happening, like when you do have a great team and people that actually have your back. And, one thing I do like about my team too is that like none of us sound like each other. So there's no such thing as like a competition type, like a competition type mindset. We're all so different that it's so much easier to fucking like support each other and push each other. And like, we really push each other, like, I know there's sometimes where like, like we did a cypher or like we're on a team track and like, we hear that first verse where someone does it, and we're like, damn, like, we got to go hard as fuck. And then that second verse comes in, and I'm like, damn, like, I got to go hard as fuck. And we all go hard as fuck. And then when the song's done, we're like, holy shit, like, this song is like a mutant.
Well, you know what? If it isn't like that, then something's wrong. If you don't challenge your team, if they're not challenging you, then something's wrong. Because every time, you're working together, they should bring out the best in you, and vice versa. And if like I said, if it's not like that, then you need to check the recipe and redo it.
Oh, definitely. And I think we're definitely like we're headed towards the right way. I really do feel that. Like, I'm not trying to be favorites, like call favorites or anything, but like I'm just so, and I'm sure you feel the way with your team too, like it's just something to be so fucking proud of, everyone's on the level, because I've been on labels before where like it's always like me, like I'm the center, everyone else is just there, like it's all about me, and I fucking hate that. I hate that so much. Like, I don't want to look at a focal point when I look at a label. I want to see a team.
Exactly.
And
I agree.
I really feel like that's where we're at right now, and everyone's just so on the level. So yeah, I'm lucky. You're lucky too. You know what I mean? Like, we're very lucky to be with people that have like, we're all very like-minded, and we all have the same goals, and we're not trying to step on each other. We all want to eat, and the table is big enough.
It is. It really is.
The table is big enough.
Because we have all kinds of people associated with us in the label, from the modeling side to the artist side to the radio and everything in between. And it's, it's big enough for everybody. And we all, I've vetted out very, very strongly certain mind traits and characteristics that people have that I can spot that they're good people. And, we built a hell of a team just as you have. And it's, once it finally gets there, it kind of surreal almost, because then you're like, wow, like I built this.
Right.
And like holy fuck, it went from a thought to a realization, and it's happening now.
Yep.
But we're blessed.
It is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, both of us. We're very blessed to have our teams that we have. Now let's take a look here. How did people, I wanted to ask you this earlier, when you first did come out of the scene, how did people perceive you being a woman in hip-hop, being a woman in horrorcore? How did they perceive you when you first came out? Were they accepting for the most part from the crowds you were playing in front of, or was it more or less, oh, let's not pay attention to her, we don't care, and you really had to earn that respect? Because I know it can be like that for even me when I first started out. People thought it was silly. They're like, oh, look at this white boy rapping, because I had seen I was playing and it was kind of predominantly black, and it was them looking at me like there's no way this kid can rap, and I had to overcome that. And then it kind of completely changed over the years. But how was that for you?
Right. When I first came out, it was a mix, like, because there wasn't very many female rappers back then, and the female rappers that were out back then were fucking whack. Like, I will say that too. Like, the female rappers back then kind of inspired me to keep rapping, because I was like, dude, this shit is whack. Like, I can do this better, and I'm gonna do it better, and I did do it better.
I remember some of that shit.
So like. Yeah, so that was another like kind of like inspiration too, as much as I don't like to say that, but just hearing some of that shit and like these girls saying like, oh, I'm underground rap, I'm underground wicked shit, and they weren't. They were just on stage wearing tiny little clothes and flashing their titties and thinking they were the shit. I'm like, nah, fam. Like, there has to be a better way to fucking do this. But it was really hard for me. Like some people would be like, oh, well, like girls can't rap. Like, a lot of people would be like, oh, well, she's a girl, I won't even give her a chance. And there's still a lot of people like that. Like, if you're a female, like, some dudes won't even fucking give you a chance. They just don't like female rappers. Yeah. I see that a lot, And there were some people where, like, yeah, like, like, you're good. You still have a lot of work to do, but, you're good. And I respected that, you know what I mean? Because at least people were being honest about it. And then, when it probably took like a year, and people probably started, like, I guess, respecting me more. And I think that's why I shit out so many albums so fast, was because I was trying to like prove myself. I was like, look, like, I'm not going anywhere, and I'm just getting started, and I know what I'm doing. Like, no one else, no girls right now are fucking doing this. Like, I think that's why I shit out so many albums, and those albums that I did shit out, oh my God, they had like almost 24 tracks, on each fucking thing.
That's what I'm saying. You put out a lot of music.
Yeah, man. I felt like I had to. I felt like I had to like prove myself, and I was really so angry, and I was just so against like everything and everyone, and I was just like going and going and going. And then finally, like, people just started, I guess people might have just been like, okay, well, she's probably not going to go away for a while, so we're just going to go ahead and deal with her. That's how I felt anyway. And then after that, like, you know, I started collabing a lot more with people, and it seemed like everything, you know, started like getting on track. And yeah, I finally just started winning respect over. And that was another thing too. Like, I told myself, like, people aren't going to respect you and people aren't going to like you. You know, like, I shit out all these albums and because I wanted to prove a point. But then after a while, I was like, why do I need to prove a point? Like, you know, I was like, why am I working so hard to like impress other people and prove it when, like, in the beginning, the only reason I wanted to do this music was because I loved it, you know? So,
Isn't
like,
that a bitch,
I kind
though?
of like, it is. It's a bitch and a half.
and it happens
It's a bitch
to
and a half.
happens to anybody that I think truly has a passion in what they do and wants to be great at it and is a perfectionist. I think that happens because you just work and you work and you work on it, and I feel the same way.
Yeah, I felt like that for so long, and then I think the music started getting better and the content started getting better once I took that mind state. You know, once I got out of that mind state of like, you don't need to prove yourself to nobody. Like, remember why you did this. You know, like, remember who you are. Some Lion King shit.
It
You
is.
know, like, remember
But that's,
who you
that's
are.
some real shit, though, because, like I said, you change. You get into it for yourself, and then you strive to want to be the best so bad that you're like, I'm going to let it consume me. And then you put out as much as you can. You push it as hard as you can. You really make a mark to them, and you've already done it, and then you're overkilling it a little bit. And then you're like, why am I doing this so hard? I could back off and do this a different way. I need to make this for me again. And I think a lot of us go through that you're making music for you, but you're pushing it so hard to prove a point that you don't need to prove.
Right. And I do think a lot of it has to do with like the genre and the time of the genre. You know what I'm saying? Because this genre is so
you were pushing it at a
nitty-gritty
time that really needed to be pushed, and I think that's pivotal. That as hard as you've worked during that time, all those albums you put out, if you didn't do that, you wouldn't be one of the predominant names in the underground horrorcore scene overall in general. So, I mean, you really made your mark and etched it in. And as one of our fans left, one of our fans just left a comment and said, but your name will literally be here forever, and it will. I mean, you can't really talk about underground horrorcore at this point and not, you know, take recognition that Razakel is a name that'll never go away. So that is truly impressive. That's etched forever. That's the roots of horrorcore.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And, you know, like, also, you know, like how you were talking about, like, when I first came up and shit, you know, like, when I came up, it was very, very, very hard. And, like, now, in this day and age, like, there's a ton of female rappers, like, everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying all of them are dope, but now, like, female rappers aren't very hard to come, you know what I mean? Like, there's female rappers everywhere. And female rappers today, like today, in comparison of 2006 when I came out, have it way easier.
Oh, no, you
Way
definitely
easier.
had the odds stacked against you. Being a Hispanic female horrorcore rapper during the early 2000s, you couldn't really have the odds stacked against you more to, like, want to hold you down and no one pay attention to you, and look at you now.
Oh yeah, I will take that. I will take that. Like, I'm very proud of any female rapper that comes out right now, of course. But like back in the day, like the chances were very slim. Now everyone's a little bit more open to accepting a female rapper, and of course there's some badass female rappers, you know. But it's way easier now, hella easier now than when I fucking came up. But it's okay though, like. That's another reason why, like, I'm so happy to be in this genre, is because I can actually, like, I can see I can see how everything has evolved. And, you know, like, I'm very lucky that, like, the females that I'm surrounded with now, you know, like the Slice Girls and Genosha and HB, like, I'm very lucky that, you know, like, they take my advice and they listen to what I'm saying. And I'm not trying to be a bitch. I'm not trying to tell them what to do. I'm just like, look, I've been in this a minute, you know, like, I would do this or do this and do this, or, you know, like, I give them a little bit of constructive criticism and they take it. And that's that's when I feel like fulfilled, is where they're not just blowing me off. Like, they kind of like respect what I have to say. And the only reason I even give them any kind of criticism is because I just believe in them so much, and I want them to, 10 years from now, I want them to be where I'm at. I want their names to be fucking immortalized too. You know what I mean?
No,
So,
absolutely.
yeah,
That's what you should want for your team. I mean, that's pivotal. Is you get to that point where it's like, hey, I've kind of built my castle. I want to help them build theirs.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that's what I'm going for. That's what I'm going for. And not just the female, you know what I mean? Like, just my team in general. Like, I want all of us to just be on this level where, years down the road, people could be like, yeah, like, that shit was dope, and holy shit, they're still around.
No, that's what I think. Like I said, that's something you never have to worry about. But I mean, one of the questions I did want to ask is, do you see yourself ever at some point retiring and walking away from it completely? Do you think if you did walk away from the music that you would do more of the managing side? What's your thoughts on the long game?
Nah. If Psycho from Insane Poetry is still out there fucking rocking shows like no other,
he is too.
You're not. No, I'm not going anywhere. Like, I'm already behind the scenes and like managing and doing all that. But no, like this is, like I said, it's do or die. Like, I don't expect to be walking fucking, MTV red carpets in my fucking lifetime. I don't expect anything like that. But like, there are goals that can be met. There are numbers that I want to meet, and I still have a lot to do. Like, yeah, like, I've been in this game for fucking almost 13 years, but I just feel like I'm getting started now. Like, everything's changing and everything's getting bigger. Like, I still feel like I'm not a virgin, duh. You know what I'm saying? But like, I really still feel like everything is just getting started. So no, like music wise, like, no, I'm not going anywhere for a very, 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 very long time. And if I do something outside of music, I'll probably end up being like a serial killer. And that's it.
I'll just retire and finish it out with my retirement plan of killing people.
Yeah, that's probably it.
With that being said, folks, we're going to jump into another track. Which of the two would you like me to play?
Let's do Boyfriend Killer, Asesino de mi Novio.
All right, you heard it, folks. We'll be right back on Uncovering the Underground after this.
Ella siempre sintió que la engañaba, pero ella siempre lo amaba. Los antidepresivos no la ayudaron en su propia miseria. Se quedó ahogando, dijo que la amaba, que ella era la única, pero dijo lo mismo a cada puta entre mensajes de texto. Ella hizo planes para irse. Ella lo quiere muerto, pero no quiere decirle. Él estaba durmiendo, ella agarró su garganta. Ella tomó la vida de su novio con una arma. ¿Por qué? Porque lo hiciste. ¿Por qué? Tuve que hacerlo, no lo sé. ¿Por qué? Pues hiciste el correcto. Ella no necesita a nadie corriendo por los calles, cubierto en sangre. Ella no es la misma que antes. No necesita a nadie corriendo por los calles, cubierto en sangre. Ella mató a su amante. Ella recordaba cuando eran jóvenes amantes. Han pasado tantos tiempos, nada era como antes. Nunca en peligro, eran inseparables. Hicieron una gran pareja, eran muy amables. Pero algo pasó y cambió. Demostró que nunca sería el mismo. Ella le dio todo, nunca fue suficiente. Él estaba sucio y condescendiente. Ella hizo planes, muchos planes para irse. Ella lo quiere muerto y por fin se va a decirle. Ella cometió un error, dijeron muchos. Estoy en desacuerdo, tuvo que morir, lo juro. ¿Por qué? Porque lo hiciste. ¿Por qué? Tuve que hacerlo, no lo sé. ¿Por qué? Pues hiciste el correcto. Ella no necesita a nadie corriendo por las calles, cubierto en sangre. Ella no es la misma que antes. No necesita a nadie corriendo por las calles, cubierto en sangre. Ella mató a su amante. Si no lo querías, ¿por qué te quedaste? Mírate, estás cubierto en tu sangre. Le dijiste muchas mentiras, pero ella no era tonta. Era una tonta, no fue tonta. Disfruto disparándote, realmente disfruto matándote. Matándote, matándote, matándote. Oh, oh. Ella no necesita a nadie corriendo por las calles, cubierto en sangre. Ella no es la misma que antes. No necesita a nadie corriendo por las calles, cubierto en sangre. Ella mató a su amante. ¿Por qué me rompiste el corazón dentro de mí? Dentro de mí. ¿Por qué me rompiste el corazón dentro de mí? Dentro de mí.
All right, and we are back on Uncovering the Underground radio podcast show, and that was Razakel's new song. Hit me with it.
Asesino de mi novio.
Yes, that's exactly what it's called. And if you haven't
Killed
checked
it.
out the new album, it is available on all online major retailers right now. That dropped on October 28th, so make sure you pick up a copy of that. And am I saying it right? Muerte Tan Dulce?
Muerte Tan Dulce.
See?
Yes, that was a good try, though.
Yeah,
I'm
you
proud
know.
of you. I'm proud of you.
I gave it an
I'm proud of
attempt.
you.
But
Hey,
no,
I'm proud.
but no, make sure you pick it up, folks. It is a dope album. We played several of the songs earlier on the Uninterrupted Underground Music Hour, and then obviously we played two of those songs so far during the interview portion. We have one more coming up. So if you liked
Thank
what
you.
you've heard, make sure you pick it up. Make sure you pick up all of the catalog from Razakel, because there is quite a catalog to be, certainly purchased. So pick that up and support
Yep.
her. If she's coming to a show near you at any point, stop in and see her, because that allows her to be able to continue to do this. And as you heard her say herself, she is not retiring anytime soon. So go out and see her and support her and give her some love.
Yes,
Now,
thank you.
Let's
That was
take
awesome.
a look here. Now, with obviously we said about your name being kind of immortalized in the underground scene. RazakelStore.com, folks, if you need it, that is the link. But we said about your name being immortalized in the scene. Is that a lot of pressure for you to know that you are one of the leading names in horrorcore, and also being a female and being kind of the queen of horrorcore? Does that put a lot of pressure on it, or you kind of say, as you said earlier, fuck that, I'm doing me, and you just rock yourself, and if people like it, great, because it seems like your music's consistent. It seems like that's truly you as a person. So I think you kind of, if I had to guess, do you, and it just kind of falls into place.
Yep, nope, there's no pressure on me whatsoever. I feel like, I don't know, it's really hard to explain. It's crazy sometimes, like when people kind of put it into perspective for me, you know what I'm saying? Like like right now I'm here sitting in my room / studio, and I have like a whole frame of all my albums, and I look at that and I'm like, holy shit, like I have put in work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then like I look at my vinyl and I'm like, fuck, like I have. And then like people call me like the Queen of Horrorcore, which that's so crazy to me, you know. And I'm like, man, like it's crazy that like people put me on that, you know. And I appreciate it, and I appreciate it, but like there's like this part of me that like I'm still very humble. So I think like that's why I don't really let it get to my head, because in a way I don't care, and in a way like I don't think I'm on that level, you know. Like I always feel like I can be doing better, you know. There's room for improvement, so it's hard for me to be like, oh yeah, I'm the shit, you know. And it's still it's humbling, you know, like when, you know, I see certain fans and they like freak out over me, or like, you know, I've had like people cry and like fucking people really lose their shit, and in my head I'm like, that's weird, but then like I have to sit back and be like, man, like that's crazy, you know, because I think of, you know, like people that I would meet, that how I would feel the same way, like fangirling in a way, you know. So like it kind of puts it into perspective for me. But like, no, like I can't let that shit get to me. I can't let like I'm still very human, you know what I'm saying? Like I can't let all that pressure get to me, because I feel like if I do, maybe I'd get lazy, or maybe like my head would blow up, and I just don't feel like I'm in the position to ever feel like that, because it's just music, and I feel like the music is way much more bigger than the persona, if that makes sense.
Well, you become complacent if you start feeling like that. If you start to say, you know, when I'm letting it get to my head, I'm the shit, then you don't feel like you have to put in the work, as you said. So it does spawn the laziness, and from the laziness, the complacency to want to grow. So it's, I don't want to put in the work, I don't want to grow, and you just stay there. So you can't let what people say, good or bad, really seep in, because all it is something that slows you down either way. You have to just kind of stick to your guns, right. Do you, and like I said, I think across all your albums, you certainly have done that. There's an evolution. I mean, you certainly see growth, and you see, you know, where you came from to where you are today, but you've always kept it very much Razakel.
Right. And I'm grateful, you know, like, excuse me, how other people see me, and view me and, you know, love me and shit. I'm very, very grateful for that. And, you know, I'd never take it for granted. But like, I just don't want to get in that mind state. You know what I'm saying? Because everything is so much bigger than, oh my God, Razakel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everything is so much bigger, but I am very grateful, and I'm very humbled that like people do put me on that level. And, you know, sometimes I do have to sit back and kind of pat myself on the back, because, you know, there's a lot of times too where, you know, like I do fall in like a little, you know, in a little hole and be like, man, like, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing as good as I could be doing. Like, you know, like, are people forgetting about me? Like, is shit getting stagnant? Like, it happens, you know what I mean? It happens to where, like, I doubt myself and I question myself. But then, like, you know, everyone around me is like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you know, like, especially, like, here, like, the other day, Elmer, my roommate, and he's one of my business managers, he was showing me the numbers to my web store. And I was like, holy fuck. I was like, holy fuck. I'm not going to say what the numbers are. But, like, when he told me the numbers, I was like, I cannot believe this. Like, I needed to hear that. You know what I mean? Like,
you needed that evidence that says, hey, like, yeah, wow, like, I'm doing more than I realized.
Yeah, and that made me, like, that boosted my confidence, because everyone, you know what I mean? Like, everyone questions themselves. You know, everyone's like, fuck, like, is this going the right way? Like, especially like in this genre and like doing music in general, you know, it's like, well, fuck, like, especially if you're like in a do or die position like me. So like to hear something like that, I'm like, man, like, okay, this is going right. Like we are doing something right. And, you know, I have to do better with myself, you know, like when it comes to shit like that, I really need to learn to be like, yeah, Raz, you're doing okay. You're doing okay.
I think the hardness on yourself, though, is good for writing, though. I do think that being hard on
Definitely.
yourself and saying, like, I don't know if I'm good enough. It sucks because no one wants to feel sad or depressed, but you get in that state and you're like, I'm not doing it. Why am I not doing more than I am? But then as long as you don't let it take you too far down the hole, it's like diving into the rabbit hole but climbing back out before you fully go in, because you're kind of depressed, but then you use that depression as almost an igniter to push on your
motivation.
music. Exactly. You turn the depression into motivation, and that's important.
Yep, you nailed it. Yep.
Now, if you had all the time back that you had since day one, since you originally picked up the mic for the first time, started music, if you had all those hours of touring, writing, everything, all the energy that you put into music over the years back to put into one other thing, what would it be?
Oh my God. I have no idea. That's such a great fucking question. That is a really great question that I don't think I have an answer to.
Mind blown.
Maybe, yeah, my mind is blown. I don't know, maybe I would have finished school. I don't know. It's so hard to say because, when I was growing up, before, I wanted to do music, the dream, the stupid fucking dream was always, you meet your Prince Charming, you have some kids, you fucking have your white picket fence, you get your house, you get married, all that shit. When I was young growing up and watching Disney movies and getting that princess mentality embedded in my head, I always felt like that was the dream,
Okay.
And holy shit, I'm glad that did not happen.
It took a turn for you.
It did, but, who knows? If I wouldn't have found music, maybe I would have gone down that path. Maybe. But, oh my fucking God, I'm so glad that I did it because, oh my God, no.
In another dimension, in an alternate dimension somewhere out there, there is a white picket fence, jogging suits,
so crazy.
RAZAKEL with, a yard of lilies and all kinds of crazy shit out there.
Stop it. You're freaking me out. I'm hanging up.
I'm telling you, it's out there. There's many universes happening at the same time right now, and that's in one of them.
I think whatever it was, it would be completely fucking opposite of RAZAKEL. If it wasn't this, it would be something. I probably would have been like a preacher, like my mom or dad or something.
Okay.
It would have been something completely fucking opposite.
You know what? It's funny if you do honestly think about it, though, in all seriousness, of what different paths life could take you down. I mean, you look at it, and all it is one small decision to completely flip the entire thing.
For real.
We're all on a roller coaster ride, just holding on right now. We're just holding on to that cart like, fuck, I hope this thing doesn't go off the tracks.
Yep, and it's still going. It's still going.
No slowing down in sight. We got some loops coming. Now, if you had to pick one of your music regrets, I always ask, an interviewee this, that, if you had to think about your time in music, what's the one thing that you kind of regret doing as far as lessons learned, maybe putting trust into people you shouldn't have, maybe just learning the ropes quicker and not being naive? And I'm not saying for you, I'm just saying in general as rules. What is there something out there that you look at as a life lesson that you say, damn, it sure taught me something, but I regret the way that it happened?
Damn, you're killing me here, fam. Yeah, definitely. I definitely think there's two instances of my whole career where I do regret fucking with some people, and I do regret some certain people getting into my head. And getting, I guess, in a way, getting starstruck. You know what I'm saying? With some certain people who would, promise the world to me, and I did everything I could for these people, for them just to use me and, stab me in the back type shit. And it happens, it happens more often than people.
Well, I think it happens to most of us. Yeah, I think it's.
Oh yeah, definitely. But another thing too was meeting some idols. You have these idols, and you think of them, you think so highly of them, and people that you once looked up to. And then you finally meet them and they're garbage. I think
that's happened a few times too.
I think that's a regret of definitely a regret of mine, is putting faith well, I guess you can call it faith, but putting like your trust and faith and belief in some people, and it was like just super disappointing. And I'm one of those people where like, if I go out of my way to like do good for someone and it's like not really reciprocated in any way, then I feel like an asshole for even being that extra nice.
And that makes sense.
You know? And I feel that that's happened to me on like 2 different occasions, actually 3 different occasions. But once again, like I've learned from that, and that'll never happen again. You know what I'm saying?
It's an important lesson to
never
learn.
happen again.
I mean, I've learned
Right.
certainly some lessons over time of things like that as well, of trying to help people that you know you probably shouldn't. That you know you put your time and effort into it, and you know in the back of your mind like this is a fucking waste of my time. But I'm gonna blind myself to the fact, and I'm just gonna keep doing it anyway because I'm stupid. And then eventually it kind of hits you, and you're like, okay, why am I fucking doing this? So I think we've all gone through that. And I think that's a part of growing as an artist, honestly.
Oh yeah, and you know, like I look at it like it's not. I just heard this quote somewhere recently. It's not losses, it's lessons.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not.
Real shit.
I regret some things, but it had to happen. You know what I mean? Like it had to happen for me to like get my ass in gear and to learn. You know, if I wouldn't have learned from those instances, then I would keep getting used. You know what I'm saying? So I'm, you know, it's not losses, it's lessons. And as much as I regret that they happened, I'm glad that they happened because it taught me more. It taught me more than it'll probably ever teach them. You know, so it's okay. It's okay. There's always a brighter day.
Well, you know, every step is important to the journey because without every one of those steps, you'd never get there. So not all of them are going to be comfortable.
Right.
Some of them are going to step and you're going to kind of twist your ankle on it when you're, making that journey. Some of them are going to be nice and smooth, but every single step still got you there. They're all equal to one another, whether good or bad. It all makes you exactly who you are, puts you exactly where you are. And like I said earlier, and I hate to be redundant on that fact, but I think you've done quite well. So I'm certainly glad to see your growth.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, man.
No problem. Now, I ask this question. It's kind of a silly question, and then we're going to jump into your other song, and then we'll get wrapping it up for the night. But one of the questions I always ask every single guest is, if you had to pick one animal that would take over the world, the animals rise up, and you have to pick one specific animal that you think could take out all of the others or be the king of all of the other animals. Who do you think it would be?
Oh my God. These last few questions are lit. You're really good. Man, I'm going to say a cat just because I love cats so much.
Okay. No, I wasn't expecting a cat, but okay. What would be your ultimate tactic, I guess?
Fuck, I don't know. I think cats are like so prissy and uptight, and I think it's hilarious that we have to clean their shit.
Yeah, I mean, secretly they're the rollers, and we don't realize they're like aliens from another
I know.
dimension.
I think it's like that with any pet, though. You know what I mean? Like our pets own us. We don't really own them.
I mean, I know my pets own me. I love them. Them are like, my cat. I got 2 cats and 2 dogs, and I love the 4 of them like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, I have a cat and a dog, and they're awesome. And we have a bunch of like reptiles, and we have to tend to all of them, and it's a lot of care. And
it is
like when it comes to like animals, that's when I'm definitely like very less horrorcore.
That's okay, because honestly, I don't like people that much, but I absolutely love
saying.
animals. I used to have a lot of reptiles myself. That all stopped though one day. Kind of funny story about me, folks. Backlining a little bit. I got bit by an 11-foot long Burmese python. And,
holy shit! Where?
On my arm, and it wrapped my arm around and tried to pull me inside its cage. We had it as a pet, and
oh my God,
it was a pretty fucking intense experience. If you ever want to hear that story, reach out to me. I'd be glad to tell it. It was pretty intense.
Well, wait, hold on. Like, did you have to unwrap him off of you?
Fuck yeah, I did. Well, see, what happened is, real quick, as these girls were out in front of my house, I used to bring out this snake. We had it. It was fucking humongous. And I would take it out and hold it, and cars would literally go by on the avenue and stop dead and get out and take pictures. People would come over and see it. Like, it was a spectacle every time I brought it out. And there was this one girl that brought her cousin or her sister, I don't know who she was, over, and she's like, "You need to show her the snake. She has a terrifying fear of snakes. You need to break that and show her there's nothing to be afraid of." And I was like, okay. So we went up to the tank, and he was shedding at that time, and I know better than to fuck with him when he's shedding because there's film over his eyes and he can't see. Well, he ate earlier that morning, so he had the smell of a big rat in his cage still. He was sleeping. I reached in to touch him. As soon as I touched him, it startled him awake. I'm sure the first thing he smelled was a rat, turned and just fucking cranked me. And
my God.
It's actually a funny experience because this girl was already like trembling in fucking terror of this snake, and then she watches this snake with its head's like this middle of my chest grab my arm, wrap around it, and start to pull me into its tank. And she just started screaming and ran out of my house. I've never seen the girl again the rest of my life. I don't know who she was.
You traumatized that girl.
I'm sure I did, and that's pretty cool though when you think about it. But and then the other one was in shock, and she went down and found my mom because I was young at the time, and she's like, "You need to get up there. Your son just got bit by a snake." But she said it like real calm, like she was just like an everyday thing, and she like walked out all in shock too. But yeah, we did end up having to pry it off. It was pretty fucking intense.
Oh my God! And then what happened to the snake?
Well, I mean, I can't discuss that on the air, but no, we tried to keep the snake for a while, but after that, he became very, very violent.
Man.
So much so that anytime you walk by its cage, it would slam its head into the side of the glass over and over again, like wanting to bite. Like it became evil after that.
Fuck.
It was just like the stories you hear, like, once it tastes human blood, it'll never be the same. Well, let me fucking tell you. It was never the same after that. The thing wanted to kill me. But yeah, it did some damage. It really tore my arm up. I was surprised.
Oh my God. Well, you're lucky. I think it could have been worse.
Yeah, it could have been. If no one would have been home at the time, I really would have been in trouble if it was something like that. Because honestly, when I pulled it out of the cage, I was strong enough to pull it out and pull it out over the glass. I sat down on the floor, and I just sat there, and I started getting real tired because it was squeezing my arm so much that all the blood was draining out of my arm. And
fuck.
And that's when that girl ran to get my mom. But if no one would have been there, obviously, I probably would have just sat there and ended up fucking thing would have ate me. When you think about it, that's when I'm like, okay, so I like reptiles. I think maybe I'm going to tone it back a step now.
Yeah.
So,
well, thanks for the story. It was definitely entertaining and terrifying.
Funny side story that no one really knows about, but no, absolutely. So you're going with the cat, though, I think. So we're picking the cat as the ultimate ruler.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now,
furry and cute.
Now, being an animal lover, this might be a hard question for you, but one of the other questions I often ask my guests is if you had to pick between fighting, it's you in a room to the death between you and 100 beaver-sized horses or one horse-sized beaver.
Oh my God!
Which are you doing?
Skippy, I don't know. I don't. I'm like more appalled at how you even get these questions.
Don't ask what goes on in my mind. I'm visioning horse-sized beavers running around.
Oh my God! I guess the big one, the one big one. I guess
the horse-sized beaver.
Yes, if I have my cat with me to help me fight the thing, I guess.
Okay, so I see your tactic. The beaver starts running in at you. It's fucking big. It's got teeth chomping, and you just whip a house cat at it.
Yes.
Okay.
The bigger they are, the harder they fall type thing, maybe. I don't know. Why are you doing this to me?
It's what I do. I can't help it.
I do like it, though. I do like it.
Well, we're going to jump into a song, folks, real quick, and then we're going to come back, finish out with the last couple-minute thoughts, and we will finish up the show for you. This one we got left is the title track off of this album, and I'm going to let the beautiful Miss Raz tell you what the name of that is.
You have to say it with me. Muerte Tan Dulce.
So I was saying Dolce.
There
so
you
it's
go.
Dulce. I was saying
Killed
like a
it.
French accent.
Dulce.
Okay. All right, let me go
Killed
ahead and
it.
play that for everybody. Check it out right now, folks, on Uncovering the Underground. We'll be right back.
A medias de la noche cuando oyes pasos, debes saber que soy yo. Cuando sientas escalofríos por tu espalda, debes saber que soy yo. Quiero que sufras miserablemente. Remueve tu corazón tan fácilmente y tan cruelmente, horriblemente. Yo soy la parca, gente me adora religiosamente. Vente, vente. Encuéntrame en el cementerio. Aquí descanso en paz. La paranoia es como un veneno mortal. Este beso de la muerte es el final. Y los demonios los dejarás entrar. Te mataré suavemente. Corre, corre rápido. Y bañaré en tu sangre. Tengo sed como un vampiro. Te mataré dulcemente. Ahora muérete, mi amor. Esta fiera tiene hambre para carne humana. Ves que las sombras negras te siguen. Soy yo. Si oyes susurros en tu oído, soy yo. No estás solo en la oscuridad. Estoy aquí contigo, contigo. Estoy aquí contigo. Sigues pidiendo y sigues suplicando. No quieres morir. Estás llorando. Estás perdiendo. No estás respirando. No estás soñando. Estás sangrando. Encuéntrame en el cementerio. Aquí descanso en paz. ¿Quieres aprender la muerte y la oscuridad? Con mucho gusto te mostraré, no vas a aguantar. Y los demonios los dejará entrar. Te mataré suavemente. Corre, corre rápido. Y bañaré en tu sangre. Tengo sed como un vampiro. Te mataré dulcemente. Ahora muérete, mi amor. Esta fiera tiene hambre para carne humana. Te mataré suavemente. Te mataré dulcemente. No vengas a buscarme. No vengas a buscarme. No vengas a buscarme. Sí, soy yo.
All right, and we are back on Uncovering the Underground Radio podcast show. That was Muerte Tan Dulce.
Woo! Get it? You did it right.
Got it. All right. See, we were doing lessons on the break, folks, and I think I got Spanish down to a T now. No, but we've had fun tonight. We still got a little bit left. If you are listening out there and you haven't been checking into the chat, please do so. We got a few minutes left here and we'll be wrapping up. There's been a lot of great conversation. You can check this show out live after the fact by downloading or streaming it on any online platform, whether it be Spreaker, Deezer, Castbox, Google Play, iHeartRadio, iTunes, you name it, we're on it. So make sure you check us out. As I said, hit those buttons on there to move us up the ranking in the podcast community. We have so much more we want to bring you and so many other great shows. And make sure you check out all the past episodes, as I said. And make sure, if you have not already picked up the brand new album from Razakel, that you go out and do that now. And you can do that, once again, what is that link? RazakelStore.com?
Yep, you're right. RazakelStore.com.
You heard it, folks. Go pick it up. You need to have it as your collection. It's something different. I put in the description of this radio show tonight that it is the first of its kind, because it is. I mean, to have someone like Razakel, known in the scene, always having English albums, doing great things in horrorcore and establishing herself, and then to write or translate over into a Spanish album which hits just as hard as any of her regular albums, I think is a testament, and I think it's something everyone should have in their collection and see, because it's the first, of its kind.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Now I'm going to jump right to it. I think everybody needs to know, what is the Queen of Horrorcore afraid of? What's your biggest fear?
My biggest fear. Oh my goodness gracious.
I'm making you be vulnerable right now, and you're sharing with us your biggest fear.
I hate heights. I hate heights.
Okay.
I don't even like standing on a chair. Like I hate heights. Like I wouldn't even. That's why I'm not like fully femme, because you can't catch me in high heels. You know what I'm saying? Like I hate heights. I'm very scared of heights. Fuck. I don't know. Besides that, I mean, I guess I could be like kind of lame about it, and I hate the fact knowing that I'll lose people I love one day.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's kind of sad and depressing. You know, like in a way, like being alone, I guess.
No, both very understandable.
What else? Fears. I think that nails it. I don't want to say too much because I know there's trolls and they're gonna fuck with me.
Well, that's true too. You got to watch out for that, and you know when people fucking with you, or trying to play pranks on you and shit.
Ridiculous. I have some ridiculous ass fears, like fucking ridiculous. You'd be like, for real? And I'm not going to do that because I already know there's assholes out there that are
don't throw yourself
send
out
me
there.
memes and pictures. Yeah, and then you're going to have a problem because I'm going to blame you. So let's just not go there.
Yeah, folks, don't do it. Don't get me in trouble. I don't need it. No, that's funny though. The heights thing. See, I've never been afraid of heights. I never had a problem going up high. I know a lot of people do. It's never bothered me.
Vertigo, man, vertigo. I don't know. I just don't. I don't like it. It scares the shit out of me. Just ugh. Like even flying. Like flying is so scary to me. I would rather fly instead of driving, of course, because it's faster. But like flying is so scary. Like when I do fly, I have to like put myself in this mind state. Like it's okay. You're fine. You're only up here for like an hour. You're fine. You're
I hate flying. Like I don't mind flying. Like I don't have a fear of it. I just don't like it.
Yeah,
I think I just hate the whole process.
Thousands of feet in there.
Well, that, and I mean, you're going through the airport and security and standing in line and all the bullshit there, and running from one end of the airport to the other end, and then getting on the plane like a fucking sardine, and then you're sitting there, and then they're like, sorry, the plane's going to run behind, sir. You know, we're going to take another 45 minutes just to sit here next to two assholes you don't know. And
oh, yeah. And, dude, every time I go flying, like, they check me. Like, they check all my shit. I don't know if I look like a criminal or something. They pat down my hair, like my dreads. Like, if I have a bun up or a ponytail, they make me take my hair down, and they go through all of my dreads. I'm like, really, bro? Like, believe me, I'm not doing anything bad. I don't want to be here.
That's funny.
Let me get to my destination.
It's funny, but it's not funny at the same time because that's discriminatory as fuck, and it's just like discriminatory to horrorcore. So automatically they see anybody wearing black and having multiple color hair or anything like that. They're automatically like, look at this fucker. You know, like we gotta pat them down.
Always.
Get out the gloves.
Always happens to me. Always. It always fucking happens to me. Always.
No, that's fucked up. I'm making a shirt line that says horrorcore kids matter too.
I love that.
You know, so but that's fucked up, and I've gotten a lot of that over the years, just being someone who wears a lot of fucking pretty intense shirts, and just being always kind of a weirdo myself. I always got a lot of looks for the shit that I wear, and people stopping me, like, or I get followed around in stores, which is weird because during the day I'm a suit and tie. I mean, for those that don't know me, I have a very professional job, and I am in a suit and tie all the time. Never get no one bats an eye. And then you catch me like on a regular day where I'm in my regular clothing and I got like devil pentagrams on me and I got tattoos everywhere, and I'm walking around the same store I was in yesterday in a suit, and now all of a sudden I got two people following me around, and I'm like, you're fucking kidding me. Yesterday I was here, and they're like, hi, sir.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing in the world. I literally get to see it like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type deal, whereas I can go in and talk to the same person and they'd be cool with me, and then the next day they don't even realize I'm the same person, and they're following me around the store watching and thinking I'm going to steal someone because we give off that, I guess, that feel to them because we're into dark music, we wear dark clothing. It's just kind of a weird stereotype, though.
Yeah, it is, and, you know, and here I am, like, wanting to fight fucking beaver or horse-sized beavers with my cat. You know what I mean? Like,
you're making the world a better place over here, you know, and they're just judging you.
Exactly. I'm trying, fam.
But no, that's a shame because honestly, it's funny because they're looking at us like we're the ones, you know, going to be doing the bad things. But usually, the community for the most part is very good. It's usually the opposite of what you think. It's you know, the kid in the Abercrombie shirt across the store that's the one pocketing everything.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, let's talk about Ted Bundy here. The most, like, he was a handsome, fucking great person of society. Same with BTK. Like, the serial killers are usually who you would never expect to be serial killers. So I feel that 100.
I just got done seeing his car a few months back. They had it at a museum that was near me, so I got to go see the original Ted Bundy Volkswagen Beetle. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
God,
and
lucky.
Well, it was really cool because I got to see that. They had all the original Pogo clown outfits from John Wayne Gacy.
Dude, oh my God. Is this was it a traveling museum or is it somewhere?
It was Alcatraz East in Tennessee.
Wow.
And it's a crime museum, and they had the mold casting of Ted Bundy that got him put in prison pretty much from the bite marks he left on his victim.
Wow.
It had Manson's acoustic guitar. It had the Boston Stranglers jewelry that he made while he's in jail. It had Jeffrey Dahmer's stuff in there too. It was pretty intense. I mean, I walked around. They had literally an entire serial killer section to it. That was all serial killer. Yeah, it was pretty intense. You definitely would have loved it. The whole thing's crime though, so like other parts of it are gangster, like Al Capone, and different memorabilia from him, like his gun and all that. So the whole thing is nothing but crime. It was interesting. If you ever get the chance, it is in the Smoky Mountains area of Tennessee. I can't remember what the hell town we were in, but it was.
Yeah, you need to link me.
I need to link you. It was really fucking dope. All right, so let's take a look. We talked about fears. We talked about your past. We talked about your future. What is left? Let's take a look. What advice would you give? I think is an important one. Knowing that you've come as far as you have, what advice would you give to someone out there that is starting out and trying to get started in the scene?
Don't do it.
Stop it now. Turn back before it's too late.
I mean, you have to be prepared to like lose everything, like straight up. If you come into this shit like half-assing it, you're not going to make it. You have to be prepared to lose sleep, friends, family. Like it's a huge sacrifice. And if it's not like a do or die thing, I wouldn't do it. And that's just my personal advice, because it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not easy. There's no 401k in horrorcore. You know what I'm saying?
There's not. It's make it or break it, like I said earlier.
Yeah, it is. So if you want to make it, like, you have to be prepared to like lose everything and then some, because it is a very serious, I mean, to me anyway, you know what I mean? I can't speak for anyone else, but for me, it's a very serious thing that I respect so much, to where like I do give my all to it. And I don't believe in, I just don't believe in half-assing it. Like, if you want it, you have to go all the way. And, goals. And it's very discouraging. There's going to be a lot of times where you're going to be discouraged and you want to quit, but don't. You know what I mean? Like, don't, unless you really, really feel that you need to. I guess that's okay, but like in my head, like, there's just no such thing as quitting, because I'm already so deep into it. But like the most honest thing I could say is just don't do it.
Exactly.
I hate to sound like such a
I
bitch,
agree.
but don't
I agree 100%.
Don't fucking do it. And not to mention, like, this shit is so oversaturated as is, and it's overpopulated, where like I feel like a lot of people are just getting into it, and they're like, it's really cheesy. And I think like some of these people make some of the good shit look bad because they're using it as like a hobby as opposed to like a job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I just think it's something that needs to be taken very, very seriously, because, I respect the craft so much that I just don't believe in half-assing it. So yeah, I guess that's the nicest way I could say it.
No, I agree. Underground is life, and if you're not ready to put your life into it, then you have no place in being here.
There you go. You were way nicer about it than I was.
No, that's all right. We gave the good cop, bad cop. Now, my last couple things, and then we are definitely going to wrap up here. We ran over a little bit tonight, but that's okay, folks. We don't try to usually go past the 1.5 marker, but we're kicking it with Raz, and I said it's okay tonight. Let's fucking do it. So my last question, I think, of the night would be, who is the one artist that is obtainable to work with that you haven't worked with that you really want to coming up? Now, when I say obtainable, anybody's obtainable, but what I'm saying is realistically, if you said you want to work with fucking, Ringo Starr, it's realistic, but it's not realistic. You know what I mean? Like, what is a realistic that you say I'm going to do in the next couple years? I'm doing a song with this person. I just haven't yet, and I really want to.
Fuck. It's really, really hard.
It is really hard.
It is really, really hard.
That's your final Jeopardy question. That one person that that one person that you see in the scene, you know them from the scene, you've dealt with them, you like them, you have mutual respect. It just has never happened. That one golden track that hasn't happened for you yet. As far as like, you're like, God damn it, I've yet to ever work with this person.
I guess. It is so hard.
It's tough. There's some good ones out there.
It's hard because I'm not really like that much of like a fan of people anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's really hard to fucking say. I guess if it comes to like underground rap shit, maybe. I think Esham would be dope. I think Brother Lynch would be dope.
That would be dope. Yeah, both would.
Yeah, that's probably it. But if I didn't get the chance to like work with them, I'm super, super happy with everyone I've worked with already. I'm not losing sleep not working with these fools. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm definitely happy with the way that I'm going, and it would be nice, but I'm not gonna say like, oh my God, it'd be like a dream come true. I would die. Yeah. I just need to track with them type shit, But I think Esham and Brother Lynch are like super fucking dope for sure.
They are. Brother Lynch is one of my favorite rappers of all time, and that's like the horrorcore I listen to. So it's like, when I said I don't really listen to a lot of dark shit, I do listen to Lynch, and I always have since like '92. I've always been a big fan. Now we have 3 minutes and 57 seconds left of the show before we'll cut us off because we are maxed out at 2 and actually 3 in this case, 3 hours. But I want you to finish up with telling us where we can check out your stuff, who you want to give thank yous to, and we'll go ahead and close out for the night.
Yes, I would like to give thank yous to my entire team, Elmer, Jimmy, Jamie, Grizzy, Genosha X, HB the Grizzly, Donna Rias, Harjaws, Razakel, that's me, Slice Curls, Diabolic the Monster, Kristen, Shannon. These are like the wives behind the scenes who fucking, they put in just as much work as the team does, like promoting us and shit. And of course, all the promoters, all the fans, your label for fucking just being so cool and, like just being awesome and like helping like spread the word, you know what I mean? Like helping spread the sickness and shit. So I'm very fucking grateful. And you can find all my shit at RazakelStory.com. You can Google me. I'm everywhere. YouTube, Instagram, all that shit. It's just Razakel Music. And yes, so much more shit is coming. The team is expanding. We have so many, new projects coming out. And I just hope that, everyone likes what we're doing and they stick around for the ride because we just have so much coming. So, yeah. I hope that was okay.
No, absolutely. You nailed it. And folks, if you're listening out there, as we've already said, make sure you support her. Come to a show near you when she's coming through town. Go to her merch store at RazakelMerch.com and pick up RazakelStore.com. I can't talk. And pick up anything that you can, everything that you can. Show love to her. See her at a town near you, and just pick up her brand new album, Muerte Tan Dulce. And make sure you jam that shit, and you'll love it. We want to thank you, Raz, for being on the show tonight. It was an honor to have you on. And for anybody listening out there, we do have another episode tomorrow with the East Coast Crazies and Crazy Kitty. So we'll be digging into both sides of the modeling and the rap between the three of them. And, certainly getting to pick their brains as well. And we have a lot of other great episodes coming in the coming weeks. So make sure you check that out. Also, our other show that we have, which is Celestial Oddities, Pair of Normal Guys Podcast Radio, where we dive deep into the paranormal elements and supernatural. You can find that also on any one of the online streaming platforms out there. Just search Brutal Business and you'll see this show and that show as well. So make sure you check them out. Other than that, we do want to thank you all for listening tonight. Check out all updates on teambrutalbusiness.com. Check us out, share us around, show your friends, show your family, spread the word, and help us get a little bit bigger than we are now. We're coming to you every single week, Thursday night live, and we're not going to stop, so make sure you check it out. And once again, I want to thank you, Raz, for coming on the show.
Thank you. Professional as fuck, bro.
I appreciate it. Well, you heard it, folks. Uncovering the Underground here tonight. Razakel, Skippy Ickham. Buy her merch. We'll catch you next time. See you tomorrow night.
Yep, good night.